Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Hello. Let me know if you can hear me okay. 5x5 in chat. Hello. It is Wednesday, April 8th. Welcome back to J is for Justice. My name is Jay. I'm your host. Welcome in, everybody. If you haven't hit the like button and hit the top chat, if you're a chatter, you're going to want to do that right meow. We have a packed show for you today. Some of you guys don't know about this case, which I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised you don't, but we're going to get into it. Let me see. I look like a ghost today. Oh, it's probably this freaking page. Hold on. Better? Why do I look like powder today. Hello, Canvas. It's been a minute. I've seen you. Hey, Evelyn. Hey, Mama Bear. You guys are just going to have to deal with me being powdered today. Hi, Paul. All right, well, we're going to do a brief update on this case and what Rex Heuermann did, so don't fret. Hello, Miss Jen. Every time I see Fitz, I think of you, that Fitz guy. Dude, that guy can stare like laser beams through you. Hi, Chloe. Mama Bear's in the house. Canvas and Crime just celebrated 20 months. Thank you, Canvas, for being so supportive. Grow Mama just became a member. Thank you for your support. Hey, Dental. Jammers. Okay, so Rex Heuermann. I have a whole playlist on Rex Heuermann. Hi, Maureen. I'm surprised too. Hi, Eclectic. Hello, Blazy. So my question is about this, right? Is remember when his wife, and those of you that don't know about it may not remember, but his wife got like $100,000 or some crazy shit for a documentary. There, do I look less powdery? Oh my gosh, Canvas, thank you. We just got 5 memberships. 7, Gen 7, not to be mistaken with 7. Smile, and Roxy and Jess. Welcome in. Thank you so much for your support.
You know, the proof is in the pudding, if you will.
Paul Swords. Yeah, so she got like $100,000 for the documentary. And now here he is. Yeah, you know that movie Powder, Austin? I look like powder today. I don't know why it's so... Hold on. I don't know why it's like that. It's kind of tripping me out. Is that better? I just feel like I look really bright. Belinda Buckner, thank you. And thank you for your support. Chloe said, I know it's early and I apologize, but...
I didn't come to fucking dance, okay? I came to party.
Aw, thanks, Paul. YouTube Bad Actors. Yes, the documentary Did It Happen? Yeah, we watched it, I believe. Hey, Patrice. Hey, Ballet.
And then she sent out cease and desist letters to...
It's better. I don't know. I've never had that problem where I look like really super pale. The lighting is weird today. I don't know why. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. Anyways, it is what it is. Thank you, Belinda. Thank you. Hey, gotcha. Shortcake Girl said my legs look powder. Kathy C, good to see you, honey. Hey, Tiffany B. Penny Farthing's in the house. So glad you're live. I was bored. So I've been watching a little bit of the Athena Strand trial. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I just can't. It's so horrible and frightening that I just can't. Let's look up that documentary because I don't remember. I've I'm refreshing with you guys because it's been a minute. Tintin in Germany. Welcome in Gesundheit, my friend. Asa. What's her name? It's not Heuermann. Olive. What's her name? I'm just going to put Heuermann. Heuermann. It'll come up. Ellerup. Asa Ellerup. That's right. Ellerup documentary. Pretty sure. Yeah, the Gilgo Beach killer, House of Secrets. Oh, she spoke? Oh, dude, we got to get caught up. Okay, let's get into it, guys. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. We're going to watch a couple clips. We're going to read through this right quick, and then we're going to get to today because the DA in this case is having a press conference at 2. So we can listen in on that, and then if we're not done going through all of this, we'll pick it up. You can handle it, Kelly Kell. I got you. Let's all hold hands and call Gigi.
I called Gigi.
Hey, April. Okay, so we have, I might not even play all these, but yesterday on April 7th, there was a news conference that addressed the wrongful suit against Rex and his family. So I hope she didn't spend all that money because Ace is getting sued. Oh, swore he was innocent. She was right behind him all the way. My husband didn't do this, right? But deep dives, if you want to go back, I covered this from the moment he was arrested. So then we fast forward to yesterday. This is from News 12 Long Island. They spoke to the prosecutor yesterday about an expected guilty plea. Now let's roll to today. We have this at 6:45 a.m. This is outside the Suffolk County Courthouse. This guy is a serial killer. Oh, she is almost to her plaque. Let's get Gigi to that plaque.
Call Gigi.
And then, let's see. We have some people who are out there. The trial tourists at the Heuermann. We don't see our lovely trial tourists because they're in here. Thank you for subscribing, Janet. These are the Heuermann trial tourists. More trial tourists. Okay, here we go. Rex's wife. Oh, I should say it says ex-wife. Did not know she was the ex. I thought they were still hitched. I didn't know she divorced them. Okay, so here is the wife and the daughter. Now, the daughter, hey, Cricket, when he was arrested, after all this stuff started coming out, the daughter had like all these creepy artwork pictures that she had done. I emailed you back, Mars. I emailed you back. But this is them arriving today for the plea. Of course, there's an advert.
Was beyond what I thought it would.
It's beyond everything I thought it would be. Now's the time to talk about, oh, we have J for J merch. We got Cooterville merch. I got a second channel, et cetera, et cetera. Let's go. There's the daughter right there. And they still live in the same house. There she is. I mean, I feel for the daughter in a way, but dude, she worked with her dad. She had to have known something was weird.
Any thoughts today? Plenty of thoughts.
What are your thoughts after you're collecting $100,000? Can't with her.
One thing today. She say one thing. Not at the time. There's nothing to say at this point. We don't know what's going to happen 11 o'clock. Come on.
Look at, she's made her daughter all weird like her. They're all so strange. They're like this weird family of their own genetics. Okay, so that's them arriving. Then we have another clip at 8:55. Heuermann family lawyer. So this is their family lawyer, Bob Macedonio. He spoke out about the wrongful death lawsuit. Ooh, it names not only the killer, but also his daughter. His daughter's included. Hello, Mary Dean. And the complaint claims that they may have profited from the case. We know they profited from the case because they had this documentary, Peacock, The House of Secrets. She made a nice little chunk of change. So then if we go up here, let's watch this. This is only almost 3 minutes. I think this will get you a little idea of the 8 people he's expected to plead or pled guilty to killing. And he actually stated the cause of death. Hello, Allie. These poor families have been through hell, and I hope they take every penny that she got from that documentary. I do. They are creepy. Hey, Space Fairy. Hey, Surfer Mom.
It is a case that has haunted Long Island for 15 years, the case of the Long Island serial killer. And this morning, we could be just hours away from it all coming to an end. Accused killer Rex Heuermann is expected to plead guilty to the Gilgo Beach murders. Our Jonathan Gordon has been outside criminal court in Riverhead all morning long, explaining what we could see inside the courtroom and then also what's going on outside behind you, Jonathan.
Cindy, you're fixing a toilet? Are you on the Orion spacecraft? Excuse me.
Yeah, and we'll start outside of the courtroom first. I mean, you take a look, this line just continues to grow, and I've been talking about it this morning. It's a mix of both members of the media as well as people here, just the general public, waiting online to get in, bearing just these really cold temperatures here and hoping for a spot inside of the courtroom. It's the same courtroom back here behind me here in Riverhead, where in just a little bit, accused serial killer Rex Heuermann will be brought in for what is considered to be potentially one of the most highly anticipated court appearances maybe ever here on Long Island. It's just all eyes on what will unfold here inside this courtroom. Today, Heuermann is expected to plead guilty to the 7 murders that he's been charged with, according to multiple sources. He's accused of killing these women and dumping their bodies along Gilgo Beach dating back to 1993. Heuermann has pleaded not guilty to all of the charges against him, has maintained his innocence.
The first one went missing in 1993.
Since his arrest in 2023, sources also tell News 12 that Heuermann is expected to admit to an 8th murder, the killing of Karen Vergata. Her legs were found in a plastic bag on Fire Island in 1996. Her skull was discovered west of.
So this is one of the victims that was dismembered. And we're going to learn today that he didn't dismember all his victims. I don't know if he gets any kind of deal. We're going to find out from the prosecutor.
Tobay Beach 15 years later. The terms of today's plea agreement are not yet known, but there have been talks of a potential deal for months leading up to today. And I spoke with retired NYPD detective and John Jay College of Criminal Justice professor Michael Alcazar. We talked about some of the key moments in this case, how we got here, what we can expect today. And one of the things here is about.
I thought they were going to go into the deaths. So I'm going to turn that one off. Okay, so let's fast forward. 11:16 this morning. Rex Heuermann admitted guilt in the strangulation of Melissa Barthelemy. I'm not going to say admits guilt. So admits guilt in strangulation of Megan Waterman and Amber Costello. He admits to luring victims to meet him with the promise of money. He admits guilt in strangulation of Maureen Brainerd Barnes. Also of Jessica Taylor. Also of Valerie Mack, Sandra Castilla, and Karen Vergata. Rex Heuermann admitted to a string of murders that shocked the public for more than a decade. 62-year-old Massapequa Park resident was initially arrested in July of 2023. He stands accused of slaying 7 women between 1993 and 2011. Prosecutors say he dumped their remains along Gilgo Beach and other areas in Suffolk County's East End. The victims included Maureen, Melissa, Megan, Amber, Jessica, Valerie, and Sandra. He also admitted to an 8th murder today. The killing of Fire Island Jane Doe, Karen Vergata. Her legs were discovered in a plastic bag after her disappearance in 96. Sources say her skull was found off of Tobay Beach 15 years later. He maintained his innocence after he was arrested. He has not been arrested with Shannon Gilbert. No one has. No one has. They said that was an accident. So at 11:27 a.m., he pled guilty to first-degree murder, counts 1 through 3, and second degree for 7 through 10. So maybe that's the deal, that those were second degree. I hate that only 3 of the girls get the first degree and then the rest get second. I don't know if that matters to their families or not. I hope it doesn't. Like, I hope they don't feel lesser because they were, you know what I mean? I don't know what the justification is in that, but maybe we'll find out. So, his sentencing will be June the 17th. He's like an ogre. He's like something that's not even human. So June 17th, he is expected to be sentenced to a consecutive sentence of 100 years to life. And then here's Asa. That's only 14 seconds. Defense attorney Michael Brown addressed the outcome. Okay, I haven't seen that. Michael Brown's a character. He was the one that said they had the big black terabytes. So here is Rex Heuermann's attorney. Probably going to be another ad.
File free?
Okay, you guys ready?
First spoke almost over 2.5 years ago. You know, I stressed the importance of a couple of things: the presumption of innocence, the right to have a jury of your peers decide your fate. And those are absolute rights, but just the same, a defendant also has an absolute right to change his plea, to accept responsibility, and enter a plea of guilty. Now, as attorneys, we've counseled him, we've advised him, but that decision is ultimately up to the defendant. He controls his case, and that's his prerogative, that's his right, and that's what happened here today. When Rex decided that he wanted to accept responsibility and didn't want to proceed to trial,
I wonder what made him change his mind.
We then pivoted and did our best to protect his interest. That included the fact that he's going to cooperate with the Federal Bureau of Investigations, the Behavioral Analysis Unit.
Whoa, he's going to cooperate. They want to analyze his ass. So that's why he pled guilty, or one of the reasons. That's one of his deals. He has to cooperate with the Behavioral Analysis Unit. Don't say butt plug when I have to say analysis, belly flats. But no, for real, he's going to. Wow, that's crazy. Like, I wonder if they'll have like a full out report on him.
And as you heard the district attorney, there will be no further prosecutions in regards to these 8 victims. The district attorney's office of Suffolk County did an excellent job. I'll commend them. They deserve all the accolades. I've been reviewing this case for over 2.5 years. I can't express to you, and I know we've talked about it on many different dates, the volume of evidence and discovery. They did a great job. They really did a great job of gathering the evidence, going down. They went down hundreds of.
That's where it ends. Okay. Okay. Well, we've got more from Mary Murphy. Mary Murphy is a reporter who's out there. And this is Rex when he walked into court today. I thought this was kind of shocking. He looks the same as he did when he got arrested. It doesn't even look like jail has been hard on him. I think he pled out because his ass doesn't want to sit in the county anymore. He's probably sitting in a county jail, right? Total colostomy bag. But he looks the same as he did when he was arrested. He does not look aged. I mean, it's been a couple years. A lot of people get aged. They get stressed out. They look terrible. He doesn't. I mean, he's gross. He's terrible anyway. But he hasn't changed. It's like it shows what a monster he is. Like he can just thrive anywhere. Like an ogre. Let's see. We got his wife coming out. Here's his wife coming out.
Guys, clear a path. Clear a path. Clear a path. Clear a path.
Step back, please.
Damn, she is pumpkin, isn't she? His haircut. I think, does he want it shaved or they just fuck with him and do that? What if they link him to other victims? I don't know, Ski Utah.
Guys, clear a path. Clear a path. Clear a path.
I'm sure they can add more to him. I'm not sure how that works. So there's the wife. Let's see what else we've got from her. Ray Tierney, the DA, leaves court with his team and families of some of the victims. Obviously, there was no cameras in the court. Hey, Donna. Hey, Gene. I agree with that, Gene. That's the DA right here. So we're going to be hearing from him momentarily. He's got a press conference on his YouTube scheduled for noon. Here is something that happened in court. The DA said to Rex Heuermann, "Did you dismember the remains of Jessica Taylor?" And Heuermann said, "Yes." The serial killer has allocated in court that he strangled all his victims, but not all were dismembered. Jessica Taylor's torso was discovered in Manorville in 2003. Oh, and it gets worse. Rex cut her head and hands off, but only scratched out her tattoo. Wow. It's the reason her head and hands were ID'd so quickly. This Kathleen Ryan was the PIO when her body was found. She received the tip that ID'd the tattoo and torso. She said Rex must have been shocked. What a monster. What an absolute monster. Rex Heuermann admitted he caused the death of the first woman discovered. This is Melissa Barthélemy by strangulation in 2009. He said he also strangled the next two women recovered, Megan Waterman and Amber Castillo. Here's Mary Murphy.
Court in Riverhead, long before the doors are supposed to open at 9 a.m. It's 11 minutes before 7 a.m. and already you see the people are outside. Actually, some have beach chairs here for the expected guilty plea by Rex Heuermann. We're told it's supposed to happen about 11 a.m. And this, of course, all deals with the Gilgo Beach serial killings. Rex Heuermann is charged with 7 murders of 7 women. He's expected, we're told, to plead guilty to another charge that he's not formally been indicted for. So it's going to be some day in court today, and hopefully we'll get into the main courtroom. And there's supposed to be a press conference with families later on today in another part of Suffolk County.
Okay, so that must be what we're gonna see in just a second here. But yeah, this lady did a really good job reporting today. Let's refresh and see if she's got anything new. We got a couple minutes left. So Rex Heuermann and his wife already had a son when they met. Rex had another wife before this, but he met her. He has a type, red hair. He's gross. His Google searches were even worse. All right, let me get the press conference set up here so we don't miss a thing. And I will tell you a little bit more about these Google searches in just a second. Thank you guys for being here. If you could hit the like button, we will start this as soon as it goes live. But I'll tell you a little bit about what he was Googling and shit like that. It's really, really disturbing. So it might scare you a little bit. But we're waiting for the DA to go live, and I'll switch over to that as soon as he does. When they had a search warrant on his house, they brought out the weirdest things, you guys. He had a locked vault room, a torture room, in his basement. Okay. He has a child. She had a child from a previous. He met Asa, and then they had the daughter together. So the daughter is him and Asa's together, the one that we just saw. And as you notice, his wife and daughter both have red hair. So his Google searches were very disturbing. Let me read a little bit about what he did. He used a burner phone to contact dozens of sex workers more than 500 times, leading up to the months before his arrest. The contacts took place over the course of 2 years. Heuermann also allegedly conducted thousands of internet searches for hardcore violent pornography and images of bruised and impaled women, along with more than 100 searches about serial killers and the Gilgo investigation itself. And you know there's got to be more. There's got to be more victims. God, no one even wanted to print his Google search history. He also had a planning document to methodically blueprint his killings. He had a hard drive in the basement of his home, and in capital letters, the file outlined the packaging of bodies for transport, steps to avoid apprehension, and the removal of trace DNA evidence. He was also an architect and worked for the city. Hello, Auntie Cheryl. The manual that he had contained headings such as supplies and problems, with DNA listed as the type item under problems. The DNA evidence in the blueprint document definitely were damning. A section was titled Body Prep, detailed steps to clean, dismember, and move bodies, while another called Post Event appeared to list tasks to avoid apprehension. So the big break in the case came in 2023 in January when investigators took a swab of leftover pizza crust. They swabbed leftover pizza crust that he threw in the trash outside his Manhattan office. The DNA initially linked him to a hair found on a burlap sack where Megan Waterman's remains were found. Hair recovered on 5 of the 6 victims was linked to Rex Heuermann. Still waiting for him to go live. Isn't the wife being arrested if she knew? Nope. No charges on her. No charges on her. I'm just seeing if anybody else is live. Just bear with me a moment. Not yet, little Smurfs. Not yet. But oh my God. We can go to this. What is this? CBS New York. Look at this picture they have of him. I guess he has changed. He's lost teeth in prison. You guys are going to puke. Look at this photo. I mean, he's truly a monster. Truly. Just, ugh. Do you think the wife is involved? I think the wife knew. Because when the wife, this is like a really deep story. Like, I can't even synopsis it in a short amount of time. But back in the day when he first met his wife, they used to go to sex parties. Okay, they used to go to these sex parties in New York City. And like swinger parties and shit. So they were swingers. He would bring women home. She knew this. And then, but the thing is, when he killed these people, she was always conveniently out of town. She was either back in her homeland of what, Greenland or some shit. Want to know more about Rex? Oh, thanks, Jammers. I want to know more about Rex. Let me check out Jay's playlist while we wait for this to start. This isn't Jay's playlist. Oh, we're live.
Walked among us, play acting as a normal suburban dad, when in reality, all along, he was obsessively targeting innocent women for death. He identified these women, lured them into Nassau County, murdered them, and left their bodies in Suffolk County. He thought that by killing them, he could silence them forever and get away with murder. But he was wrong, because it was these victims, these women, who refused to stay silent. First, that silence was broken by the victims' families, who advocated for their loved ones and agitated for justice. Then, the noise grew louder through the ensuing investigation and examination of the evidence that the defendant left at or around the crime scenes, as well as on the bodies of the women themselves, that further told the stories of these victims and what had actually happened to them. It was this evidence that ultimately was put together by the task force that proved to be the defendant's undoing and led to the pleas of guilt in today's court proceeding. And it is in this way that these murders were solved. And while we in law enforcement, as well as our Suffolk County citizens, mourn the loss of these victims, we are also grateful to them and to their families, because without them, this defendant would have never been brought to justice and would still be walking amongst us. And he would still be portraying himself as that same harmless father next door, instead of what he is, a convicted murderer. Ultimately, this case is really about these victims and their stories. It is not about this defendant. And I speak for everyone in law enforcement, and when I say we are honored and thankful for being able to have played a small role in obtaining a small measure of justice for these families. For decades, this case stood out as a painful scar on the face of Suffolk County law enforcement, Suffolk County government, the citizens of Suffolk County, and the victims' families as well. However, with the defendant's pleas of guilt today, it means that for the first time since the deaths of these women, we can turn to all of these same people and say, Rex Heuermann will be held responsible for the 1993 murder of Sandra Castilla, the 1996 murder of Karen Vergata, the 2000 murder of Valerie Mack, the 2003 murder of Jessica Taylor, the 2007 murder of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, the 2009 murder of Melissa Bartholomew, the June 2009 murder of Megan Waterman, and the September 2010 murder of Ms. Costello. Despite this tragedy, there's a lot of different emotions, and I guess the word for today, despite the tragedy, despite all those emotions, is thankfulness. We are thankful. We have a lot to be thankful for, despite these emotions. First and foremost, we are thankful for the victims and the victims' families who told their stories, their loved ones' stories, and defended their loved ones' legacies. Without them, we would have never truly gotten to know those victims. My start in this case occurred before I took office. A homicide detective with the Suffolk County PD, Pat Portella, gave my phone number to Melissa and Amanda. Melissa is, of course, Maureen Brainerd Barnes' sister, and Amanda is Melissa Barthelomew's sister. And they spoke with me. We had a really good phone conversation. And during that phone conversation, I heard the pain and frustration in their voices. They wanted answers. They wanted closure. I told them that we were going to do things differently. It was going to be a new manner of doing things. First and foremost, we were going to form a task force, and we were going to bring all of the talents of all these people standing here to bear, and we were going to work together. We were going to not use this case as a political football to be kicked into the news stream on slow days or whenever it suited the political leader's purpose. We were going to be quiet. We were going to pretend as though it was business as usual in Suffolk County. And the reason why we were going to do that was because we knew what we were doing. We were playing to an audience of one. And that one person, of course, was the murderer. We wanted to lure that individual into a false sense of security. We wanted him to think he got away with this. And that was exactly what we did. And the reason why we wanted to do that is because when we solved this case and we had those arrest warrants and executed those search warrants, we wanted more evidence, and that's exactly what we got. So we were thankful for that. We were thankful we were able to bring this case to a close, but it started, our inspiration was these victims and their families. But those families were so much more to us. Through them, we truly got to know these victims. When we started, the victims were nothing but names on a blotter, black and white, writing on investigative reports. But once we spoke to the victims, they provided us with the color of these women, and we got to know them as the wonderful mothers, sisters, friends, and daughters that they were. And that inspired us even more to close this case, to come to a resolution. So again, first and foremost, we are thankful for those families. And I just want to individually mention all of the families. The Brainerd Barnes family, I already spoke with Melissa, but I want to thank Melissa and her husband Chris and their children, Marie, who is Maureen's mom, Nicolette and Dylan, who are Maureen's two children. We want to thank them for their support, not only of Maureen, but for our investigation as well. And we want to say, on behalf of Suffolk County, we're sorry. The Bartholomew family, Amanda, who's Melissa's sister, Lynn, her mom, and Jeff, Lynn's partner. We want to thank them as well. When this case started, it started with the grand. Well, it didn't start, but the charging started with the grand jury, and Amanda, Lynn, and Melissa came down and helped us with the grand jury. And I remember when Lynn came in, it was about 2-day proceeding, and when Lynn first walked in, she appeared a certain way, and by the end of that second day, she looked completely different. You could see that having forced her to relive this, you could see the sadness in her face and in her eyes, and we're sorry for that. But without their cooperation, we wouldn't be here today. So to Amanda, Lynn, Jeff, and everyone in the Bartholomew family, we want to say thank you, and we want to say we're sorry. To the Waterman family, we have We have Megan's aunt, Liz, and we have her daughter, Lily. We want to thank them. We didn't get to know them until after the indictment, but again, the way that they stood by Megan and the way they supported us, we want to say to them, thank you, and we're sorry. To Amber Costello and her family, specifically Amber's sister Kim, we want to say thank you, and again, thank you for the support, and again, we're sorry for the loss of Amber. Valerie Mack, we met shortly before the indictment. We met Ed and Joanne Mack. Ed and Joanne Mack were foster parents and then the adopted parents of Valerie, and they gave Valerie the only happy home she ever knew, and really the only support she probably ever knew in her life. Meeting with them, they're incredibly special people. They're heroes. We also got to know Valerie's sister Angela and her son Aaron, again, equally wonderful people. So to them, we want to say thank you, and we're sorry. Jessica Taylor, we got to know Jessica's mom, Liz, after the indictment. Prior to the indictment, we got to know Jessica's cousin, Jasmine. And right after the initial indictment of the first 3 victims, Jasmine came to us on behalf of Liz and said, please help us. Please find out what happened to Jessica. And at that time, we didn't have enough. And we said, look, we're going to work and we're going to try to get there and we're going to work as hard as we can. Please trust us. And, Jasmine, on behalf of Liz, said they would do just that. So to Jasmine and Liz, I want to say thank you. And again, we're sorry. To the Vergata family, Karen Vergata, we recently went, I did, I know members of the Suffolk County PD had already spoken to the family, but my team recently went and we saw Eric and Gary, who were Karen's sons. Gary's not here today, but we got to meet Gary, and I know Gary's watching, so we want to say hello to Gary. Eric's here. We want to thank Eric. And again, we want to thank you and tell them how much we admire them for supporting their mom and for supporting us. And again, we want to say we're sorry. On behalf of all of Suffolk County, we're sorry for Karen's passing. The Castilla family, Cassandra Castilla, we had the opportunity shortly before the indictment to meet with Ariel, who's the husband of Ruth, and Ruth is Sandra's sister. Again, wonderful people who really stood by and supported Sandra. So we want to thank them for that. We want to thank them for their support of our investigation. And on behalf of Suffolk County, we want to tell them we're sorry. We're sorry. So that's the family. Again, they inspired us. They're the reason why we do what we do. Today was a very special day for us in law enforcement. Because it gave us the opportunity to turn to these victims and their families and say, listen, we told you we were going to work really hard. We told you we were going to do everything we can to bring closure to you. And that's why we work in law enforcement. And, we were able to do that to a small measure today. So we're happy for that. And again, so thankful for them. In addition to our victims' families, we have our law enforcement family. And, this case was, brought home by a task force that brought to bear the talents of a number of really great investigators from a lot of really great agencies. And again, so thankful to be able to have worked with so many talented people. It's not really, some people will say, well, this person solved Gilgo or that person solved Gilgo. That's not it at all. It was so many different pieces from so many different people, starting back in 1993 and culminating all the way through 2021. So again, and really beyond, actually. So again, so thankful for the great work. First and foremost, I have to thank my chief investigator, Rich Zacharies. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've had the benefit of working with truly the best investigators in the country and in the world. Rich is the finest investigator I've ever worked for and worked with. I do sometimes feel as though I work for him. But he was the architect of our grand jury. He put together our grand jury, and I think there's, whether it's an attorney or an investigator, I think there are very few people who could have done that logistically. And so to Rich, I want to say thank you. To our detective investigators, our analysts, again, all great. And I'm gonna mention a lot of people, and it's gonna, because it's not exciting to mention a lot of people, but they deserve mention. So I'm gonna mention them. We're gonna go through everyone, but not everyone, but a lot of people. We're gonna talk about our phone experts, Justin Doolittle and John Primiano. Unbelievable work in this case and so many others. Our analysts, Kaylee Homer, Erin Hansen. Unbelievable work combing through this evidence, this miles of evidence. And that's just to name a few. They're indicative of so many more. Our law enforcement partners, we had our DA people, our PD, our FBI, our New York State Police, our Suffolk County Sheriff's Office, our core people, Rory Forrestal, a DI. I hired Rory. He was supposed to come in and help us with our child abuse section, but he got waylaid in here, and he worked like heck for us and did a great job. We're so thankful for Rory. For Suffolk County PD, our homicide guys who are still with the task force today, Chris Kalvak and Scott Aquilina, great individuals, great investigators. Thank you so much, Chris, Scott. We had Jimmy Watson, who worked with us, and no longer with us. He's in Nassau. FBI agent Craig Mateo. Special Agent Craig Mateo. Everybody's young, I guess, compared to me, but I see him as a young guy, really talented agent, really great guy, really, really helpful. Investigator Tiffany Attai with the State Police. Again, along with Rory, Erin, and Kaylee, really, plunged into the evidence in this case and really, really helped us out. She was also the one who did the infamous avalanche search. So we want to thank Tiffany for all of the work and all the work that they all did. We have a number of retired task force and former law enforcement officers with us today. We invited them, and I saw John Santoro, I saw Donna Giordano, Pat Albergo, just to name a few. And we wanted to invite those retired members because, again, there was a lot of talk about this case, a lot of talk about, no one cared about the women, who were murdered in this case. That nothing could be further from the truth. I'll talk about Pat Alberga. He worked Jessica Taylor's case. He retired. When we had brought enough evidence to bring that case together, we called Pat. And he came to help us testify. Actually, he and Donna Giordano testified for us. But when Pat Albergo, who's retired, came in, he sort of walked through the door like a kid, like a little kid walking down the stairs during Christmas. And he's like, "Why am I here?" And I'm like, "Because we're going to charge this case." He was thrilled, and that attitude is indicative of every single one of all these agencies. So grateful to work with all of these people, both past and present. Our ADAs, Nick Santamartino, Andrew Lee, Michelle Haddad, Larry Opizzo, God help them, right? They get to know what I'm really like. And so they were with us right from the very beginning, through the grand jury and through today. Great job by them. I want to thank them. My chief assistant, Alan Bodie, he really, along with Rich and I, we really thought a lot about how we were going to go forward with this case and planned a lot of things, from the grand jury, and he was really helpful with that. And also, he ran the office while I was running around pretending to be a lawyer. Our discovery expediters, our analysts, our paralegals, everyone. And that's just us. So now, we come to the Suffolk County PD, and, I'll talk a lot about Suffolk County PD was with us every step of the way. Our police commissioner Catalina, our chief of department Bill Dougherty, our chief of detective Sean Barron, a whole host of other people are with us today. We have our Suffolk County Sheriff Errol Toulon with us, as well as Undersheriff Kevin Heavey, as well as Undersheriff John Becker. We really want to thank those two agencies. We want to thank Errol Toulon, and we want to thank Police Commissioner Catalina. They're two phenomenal partners. I can say this about Suffolk County and Suffolk County citizens when it comes to Police Commissioner Catalina and Sheriff Toulon. You are all in wonderful company. In addition, with regard to our Sheriff's Department, they provided logistics and traffic and sex trafficking related intel throughout our interviews, helped us to identify a lot of potential interviews of inmates and other people who had been sex trafficked. So we want to thank Suffolk County Sheriff for that. With regard, we also have the FBI here. We have Special Agent in Charge Michael Raffa, who's the FBI New York Criminal Division. So Special Agent in Charge Raffa is in charge of the criminal division of the FBI in New York State. We want to thank Michael for coming in. We want to thank Supervisory Senior Resident Agent Don Osbacher, who's been with us from the very beginning. We want to thank them for lending us their expertise, and more importantly, their people. The cell phone analysis that we all heard about, that was done by the CAST, or cellular. The FBI CAST stands for Cellular Analysis Survey Team, and specifically Special Agents Eric Perry and Mike Sabrick. Really unbelievable work by them. Eric, he provided the drive time records, so those boxes, those areas of interest in Manhattan and in Massapequa Park. That was developed because in 2011, Eric Perry drove with equipment through every single neighborhood and extensively mapped the cell phone coverage in those areas and allowed us with specificity to be able to develop these areas of interest. That had to be done in 2011. The landscape changed, the cell sites changed, after Superstorm Sandy, the geography changed. So, we went back to 2011, and that work that Eric did, and just phenomenal. So we want to thank the FBI. We want to thank Eric Perry and Mike Sabrick. They both created maps for us to use in the grand jury. They testified in the grand jury, as well as John Primiano from my office with the help of Justin Doolittle, and just great work. With regard to forensics in this case, I think I'd said earlier that IgG, investigative genetic genealogy, did not play a role in this case. I was wrong. I had forgotten that IgG was used to identify victim Valerie Mack prior to my involvement in the case. So I want to thank the FBI and Lori Giordano for that. They also, with us, helped to identify Karen Vergata. So again, thank you. FBI, they provided surveillance of the defendant, both in the city and on Long Island, and their surveillance team. I was nervous. I had never met these guys. I had worked with them as a federal prosecutor, but that was a high risk, high reward thing. If they get made, everything comes down. If they get detected, but they weren't detected. Not only did they follow the defendant, but they recovered the abandonment samples. So we want to thank them. Suffolk County PD, they recovered DNA from the defendant's house. We want to thank the homicide squad for that. And again, working together, we were able to really develop that DNA evidence. So we want to thank them. We provided, the FBI provided a searchable account, digitalized this entire file for us. So we want to thank the FBI for that. New York State Police. Today we have Major Chris Casal, who's the troop commander of Troop L. We have Captain Chris Jean, who works in Troop L as well. Again, they provided Tiffany Atai to our task force. who was integral to our success. They provided assistance to search warrants of all the search warrants with regard to this case in all the various locations. They were on the scene with our Suffolk County Police Department gathering evidence. They transported evidence from the house to Suffolk County property, along again with Suffolk County PD. The avalanche truck, they transported it from South Carolina to our lab. There was a Ram Charger from Pennsylvania that was associated with the Sandra Castilla case. State troopers took that from Pennsylvania, brought it to our lab. We were able to develop evidence linking that truck to the murder of Karen Vergata. We want to thank them. They provided us with K-9 units along with the NYPD, Suffolk County PD. I want to thank all of those agencies. I want to thank Nassau for helping us with the search warrant. I want to thank Nassau County DA's office for helping us with the prosecution of the weapons case. Our Suffolk County Crime Lab, we want to thank them. Tremendous work. I particularly, is Clyde here? Where's Clyde? Clyde, raise your hand. Where's Clyde? All right, Clyde's all the way in the back as usual, hiding. So Clyde was the hair analyst in this case. He collected hairs from all the victims in this case, save for Jessica Taylor. And he pushed the PD and he pushed our office to send certain hairs out for mitochondrial and then later nuclear DNA testing. And when we started this case, he was working with Nick Santomartino in my office, and he was recalling with great specificity certain hairs of interest that he thought were really going to bear fruit. And I was talking to Nick, and I was saying, does this guy really, like, is he really, like, did he really, was he this meticulous? Is he this sure? And so Nick said, sit down with him, sit down with Clyde. And we sat down with Clyde, and, to go to a crime scene, in the 2000s and not have the capability to get nuclear DNA, but yet to be so precise and exact in gathering evidence, cataloging the evidence, safeguarding the evidence, and then being able to advocate for its use. Without Clyde, we probably wouldn't have gotten that evidence. So, Clyde's retired now, but we really want to thank Clyde. Bob Jenna, he collected hairs on the Castilla case. He recovered 2 hair. He was the former chief of Suffolk County Crime Lab. He's retired. He collected 2 hairs on Sandra Castilla, did a great job, similar to Clyde. Don Doler, the former chief, he was the chief of the lab when we started this. Great job. We want to thank him. Connie Dinkle is the current chief of the lab, and she did a great job and continues to do a great job. We want to thank them. Bob Bauman, Helen Wong, Liz Sepulveda, Kerry Anito, Craig Hamer, all of these forensic scientists did a fantastic job, and we want to thank them. Again, they were in the house with our law enforcement partners, gathering this evidence meticulously, precisely, and without. I was thinking about this. This isn't a cast of hundreds. When you look at when you bring all this together, it's a cast of thousands. So we want to thank all of those individuals. Office of Chief Medical Examiner, City of New York, Brad Adams, Mark Desire, and Neha Desai. Brad Adams was the anthropologist. He identified the Gilgo 4, and he was the one who urged investigators to go back after the discovery of Melissa Barthelemy, which resulted in the discovery of the 3 other victims known as the Gilgo 4. Mark Desire is the assistant director of biology of the lab. He was our liaison. He made all of his people available to us. Ms. Desai, she testified for us in the grand jury. Her DNA analysis led to the identification of the Gilgo Beach 4. Again, she testified in the grand jury. A fantastic job. Our outside experts, mitotyping technologies, Gloria Dimmick and Jenna Manges, Gloria testified first in the grand jury. Fantastic scientist, fantastic person. Astrea Forensic, Dr. Ed Green, Dr. Christina Valencia, Kelly Harkins Kincaid. Those scientists with Astrea are at the very top of their field, and they did something revolutionary in this case, and they've set the bar high going forward, and we're going to be able to utilize this technology going forward to solve a great many cases. So we want to thank Astrea Forensics, and I want to tell you, if you think you're smart, you should spend a week with Dr. Green, and then suddenly you realize maybe you're not as smart as you think you are. At least that's the sense I got after spending time with all those great scientists. NYPD, again, they helped us with the cadaver search in April of 2025. We had individuals from their TARU unit testify in the grand jury with regard to phone calls made by the defendant. They helped us to attain records, missing person records involving in this case, spanning back years and years. Again, at a drop of a hat, even though it wasn't their case, they came in and helped us. Scarborough Police Department, with regard to Megan Waterman. The Megan Waterman case came in as a missing person case, and it went across the desk of a detective, Don Blatchford, who's here with us today. And Don, gathered the evidence and really did everything he could to try to locate Megan. And when the trail took him to Suffolk County, he didn't stop. He continued to help us in our investigation. He brought the Waterman family to Long Island for interviews and for court proceedings. He testified in the grand jury, and he's had a long, illustrious career in Maine. He's going to retire, but he held off his retirement to see this case through. And again, I talked about the Suffolk County PD guys who cared about these victims. Don Blatchford is another individual who cares about these victims, like all of the people in law enforcement. So we want to thank them. United States Secret Service, with the massive digital evidence in this case and their forensic science division, all of the massive amount of digital evidence, they helped us process it. We had their forensic science division, we recovered a Bounty paper towel off of the crime scene of Megan Waterman. They processed that and they compared that to the same Bounty towel that we recovered in the home of the defendant. They matched, and this was a memento that we argued the defendant kept. Would have been a key piece of evidence, so we want to thank the Secret Service for that. The telephone carriers, Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, Nextel, and AT&T. Again, phone records spanning back to 1993. We've got to get those records and evidence. Again, Rich Zacharias was integral in this, but they went above and beyond.
Phone records from 93?
They went above and beyond for us because they knew this case was important. We want to thank them. With regard to the court staff, Judge Mazie and his staff, I want to thank them for their courtesies, and I want to thank them for all that they did in their professionalism. And this is a difficult case, and they handled it with aplomb. So, I'm going to turn it over to our partners, but just to clarify regarding the plea of guilt, the defendant has pled guilty to 3 counts of murder in the first degree pertaining to the murders of Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. And all of those 3 individuals were killed within 18 months between July of 2009 and September of 2010. That enabled us, the proximity of those murders enabled us to charge those 3 murder 1 counts. In addition to the sentences of that is life without the possibility of parole. With regard to the other 4 victims, they pled guilty to 4 counts of murder in the second degree. That's Sandra Castilla, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Valerie Mack, and Jessica Taylor. Those sentences, 25 to life, to run consecutive to each other and to the murder 1 charges. This defendant has additionally agreed to accept responsibility for the murder of Karen Vergata. And again, the sentence will be 25 years to life without the possibility of parole on the first 3, and 25 to life on the last 4, all of which is going to run consecutive. So we have 3 life without parole sentences and 4 25 to life sentences, all to run consecutive. So, with that, I'm going to turn it over to our law enforcement partners. So I'm just going to leave with this. This case closes and another one opens. There are still, bodies on that beach. There are still bodies in Suffolk County. There's no rest for the weary. We are going to continue to work with our partners and to try to obtain closure for as many families as we can. Thank you very much, and we're going to call up Police Commissioner Catalina.
Thank you, District Attorney Tierney. The calm, serene, almost grandfatherly image that Rex Heuermann portrayed since his arrest was a lie.
Grandfatherly?
And quite frankly, an insult to both law enforcement, but more importantly, the families that had to endure that during every court appearance over the last 2.5 years. Today, he was exposed for exactly what he is, a sadistic, soulless, murderous monster. And thankfully, everybody today got to see that.
Suffolk County officials speaking at a press conference on the day that Rex Heuermann has pleaded guilty to 7 murders, the Gilgo Beach murders. In addition, has taken responsibility for an 8th murder. We just heard he's going to spend most of his life
some measure of solace to you. So, thank you, and thank you for all your cooperation.
Next, we'll hear from Sheriff Toulon.
I want to thank the District Attorney and this entire task force for the hard work that they've done over the last 2.5 years. Today's plea delivers a measure of justice to families who have waited decades for answers after unimaginable loss. While nothing can bring the loved ones back, I am proud we were able to hold Rex Heuermann accountable. Again, thanking the DA and the Police Commission and all the men and women who worked tirelessly. I also want to thank my staff, to uproot an entire jail security system to accommodate an individual of this magnitude over the last 2.5 years. Our staff has done a phenomenal job in our Riverhead facility where he's been housed, and also the staff that have been assigned to our anti-trafficking initiative. And since his arrest in 2023, my priority has been ensuring that he was safely housed in our correctional facilities because justice needed to be served in the courts and not in our jails. This responsibility is one for me and my officers who have taken very seriously. And I've spent my entire career in corrections overseeing some of the most notorious individuals, and what has been the most alarming is how ordinary Heuermann has been. It's a chilling reminder that those capable of horrific acts can often go unnoticed, and another reminder of how much great investigative work has been done to finally apprehend and have a plea today. Most importantly, today is about the victims and their families. You have endured profound loss and years without answers. We hope this guilty plea brings all of you some peace and closure. Our thoughts remain with you and your loved ones today and always. Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from Special Agent in charge of the FBI, Rafa.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Michael Rada, the Special Agent in charge of FBI New York Field Office Criminal Division. I'm proud to stand alongside Suffolk County Police Department Commissioner Kevin Catalina, Suffolk County District Attorney Tierney, Suffolk County Sheriff Toulon, to announce the plea of Rex Heuermann, the Gilgo Beach serial killer. Today's announcement highlights the importance of partnerships and perseverance. For decades, the families of these women have been left searching for answers and waiting for justice. This ends today because these agencies before you never gave up. The detectives, the troopers, the agents tirelessly chased every lead and left no stone unturned. In 2011, FBI New York began collaborating with the Suffolk County Police Department to find out who was responsible for these cold-blooded murders. Our office leveraged many resources, some of which have been described already. over the years to include our CAST, our cellular analysis survey teams, behavior analysis teams, evidence response teams, the surveillance groups, forensic and document lab teams at Quantico, and investigative genealogy tools to identify some of Heuermann's victims and help Suffolk County Police piece this puzzle together. The close coordination across every agency ensured that a monster lurking in our community was held accountable for his heinous crimes. While we'll never be able to fill the hole in the lives of the victims' loved ones, I hope that today brings a small sense of closure. Once again, I'd like to thank our state and local partners for their unwavering determination and investigative grit, and that includes the retired agents, detectives, and troopers that are here today. To see them sitting in that courtroom today in the back of that room was really awe-inspiring. To see their commitment to justice doesn't end when they hand in their badge and gun when they retire. Finally, thank you to the agents and analysts of FBI New York Long Island Safe Streets Task Force, the Special Operations Group, our CAST folks, Investigative Genealogy Program folks, and I'd really like to thank DA Tierney and your office for what you did and the resolve that you showed in this case. Just tremendous. Thank you all.
So, Zach, Rafa has just been appointed from New Jersey to head the New York office, and we thank him for coming today, and we're really looking forward to continuing our great relationship with the FBI and our federal partners. Last but not least, we're going to hear from the state troopers and Chris Casal. Chris Casal was with us. Then he went to I believe, Albany or New York City. He's back with us. We couldn't be happier, but he's going to say a few words.
Thank you, DA Tierney. I'm Major Christopher Casal. I served as the Troop Commander for the New York State Police, Troop L. Today marks a significant moment for Long Island and for the families who have endured unimaginable loss for many years. The guilty plea of Rex Heuermann represents a measure of accountability in a case that has deeply impacted our communities. While this brings us closer to justice, it does not lessen the pain suffered by the victims and their loved ones. This outcome is a result of years of persistent investigative work and strong collaboration among our law enforcement partners who made up the Gilgo Beach Homicide Task Force.
Hey, sir.
And I commend all of them for their dedication and extraordinary work on this case. It reflects an unwavering commitment to our mission to never forget the victims and to continue pursuing justice, regardless of how much time has passed. This case not only underscores the importance of coordination across agencies,
Hi, Felicia,
but the role of advancements in forensic science, technology, and intelligence sharing. Today is not a day of celebration. It is a day of reflection, accountability, and remembrance. We honor the victims and stand with their families who have shown extraordinary strength and resilience. The state police and all the agencies you see represented here remain committed to serving our communities and to the continued pursuit of justice for every case that is entrusted to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And now that you're back, we look forward to resuming our great relationship with you. Obviously, we have a lot of victims' families here. I believe that we are going to, Gloria Allred represents a number of those victims, and I think they asked for Gloria to come forward and make a statement on behalf of many of the victims.
Gloria.
So we'll call Ms. Allred.
I think they got your number. Gloria's like in her 80s now.
Thank you.
Do it, lady.
I'm attorney Gloria Allred, and I represent a number of the family members who suffered the terrible fate of the tragedy that was inflicted on their loved one. Today, Rex Heuermann, who thought he had the perfect blueprint and plan for serial murder, pled guilty to the murder of 8 young women. Some of these murder victims were young mothers just trying to earn a little extra money to support their children, because many did not have funds to go to college or get a decent job that would help them to provide adequate support for their children, they turned to sex work in order to help their families. It wasn't what they wanted to do, but it was what they felt forced to do because they had no meaningful alternatives. Some wanted to help their parents, their grandparents, and their loved ones. Some just wanted to survive in this difficult and challenging world. Little did they know that the defendant, Rex Heuermann, did not care about their hopes and dreams, or that they had families and friends who loved them. He appeared to care only for himself and executing what he thought was his perfect blueprint for murder. The evidence gathered and articulated in the prosecutor's response to the defendant's bail application demonstrated that the defendant had a, quote, planning document, end quote, utilized by Heuermann to methodically blueprint and plan out his kills. And those are quotes from the bail application. He also believed he had a perfect plan to avoid collection of evidence against him and to evade capture by law enforcement. However, what he had thought was his perfect blueprint for serial murder did not take into account the courage and the persistence of the murder victims' family members who refused to give up until the murderer of their loved ones was found, convicted, and sent to prison for the rest of his life without the possibility of parole. Many of the murder victims' family members became the voices of their loved ones, crying out for them not to be ignored and forgotten, and demanding answers and justice for them. Many of those family members whom I represent are here today. It was bittersweet for them to be in court and hear the defendant plead guilty to the murder of their loved one and the manner of their death. But the truth was important to them, and they heard it today. Last week, they were faced with a difficult question. Did they agree with the Suffolk County District Attorney's decision to agree to accept the defendant's plea of guilty in lieu of trial? Or would they have preferred that a trial take place so that they could hear all of the evidence that the prosecutor would seek to admit against the defendant? In a few moments, you will hear their answers to that question. And I will ask them to come up to the microphone, or if they would prefer to stay where they are, they can answer from there. In no particular order. Family members of Megan Waterman, please come forward and state your name and relationship to Megan Waterman. Elizabeth Meserve is her aunt. A little louder, please, Elizabeth. Or can you come up here? Thank you.
So my name is Elizabeth Meserve. I'm Megan Waterman's aunt, and I helped to raise her daughter. And on behalf of Megan, we definitely accept the plea.
Thank you. And also, we have with us Megan's daughter, Liliana Waterman. Oh, okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. Here.
My name is Liliana Waterman. I am the daughter of Megan Waterman, and on behalf of her and my aunt and all of our family back home, we do accept, and we are very, very thankful for everything that they've done for us.
Thank you. Family members of Melissa Bartholomew, please come forward and state your name and relationship to Melissa Bartholomew. Lynn Bartholomew, mother? No? Okay. Amanda Funderburg, sister.
I'm Elizabeth Vakil. I'm Jessica Taylor's mother. And I am glad that this is over as far as him pleading guilty. It took a big chunk of stress off of me and my family.
Thank you. And you accept the plea?
Oh, yes, I accept the plea wholeheartedly.
Thank you so much. And then we have Jasmine Robinson, who is a cousin of Jessica Taylor, victim Jessica Taylor. You okay? Family members of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, please come forward and state your name and relationship to Maureen Brainerd Barnes. Missy Khan, sister. Nicolette Brainerd Barnes, daughter. Dylan Haggett, son. This is Nicolette.
I am Nicolette Brainerd Barnes, the daughter of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, and on behalf of my mother, I accept this plea.
Thank you. Dylan Haggett.
I am Dylan Haggett, the son of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, and I accept the plea.
Thank you. Okay. So I think we have everyone that I represent. If there's anyone I don't represent who would like to say something, feel free to come forward. Okay. The defendant's plan to get away with the murders he committed was also unsuccessful. Okay, good. Thank you so much. Okay, I could actually just use this. Thank you. Somebody else. Oh, good. Just say your name, please.
I'm Diane Doherty, and I'm the mother of Karen's sons, Eric and Gary. And I just want to say I'm thankful that we came to a conclusion that brought peace to everybody. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, you will. Okay, good. Thank you. The defendant's plan to get away with the murders he committed was also unsuccessful because many law enforcement officers who participated in this massive investigation were so dedicated. We would like to thank each and every one of you who contributed to bringing the defendant to justice. We deeply appreciate you and your dedication to finding, testing, and preserving evidence for this case. The result today would never have been achieved without your hard work and sacrifice. Even if we cannot meet and thank each one of you in person, please know that your efforts on behalf of the families, loved ones, are respected and appreciated. We look forward to thanking as many of you as possible after the time of the sentencing in June. The journey to justice has been painful for each and every family member who I represent. In conclusion, Melissa Khan, also known as Missy, would like to share her feelings about this day and the almost 2 decades in which she has sought justice for her sister, Maureen Brainerd Barnes. Missy.
I love this girl. She's been in so many documentaries.
Would you like to use this?
She does really well.
Yeah, okay.
Hello? Okay. Hi, my name's Melissa Can. Everybody calls me Missy, and I'm the sister of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, and this is my family, well, some of it. First, I want to begin by thanking the district attorney, his office, the detectives, the FBI, the New York State Police, and the entire task force. For years, they never stopped. They carried this case with determination and heart, and our family will forever be grateful. We are forever thankful for the work that led us here. Finally, a sense of relief. The guilty plea brings solace, and I like to thank everyone who had a part in that fight for justice. Thank you to our lawyer, Gloria Allred. I also would like to thank the media for continuing to keep this case in the public eye. Today, it's not about the person responsible. Today, it's about the women's lives who were stolen. It is about their voices, their future, and their families, the love that still surrounds them. They are the reason why we are here. 19 years, I lived in the space between heartbreak and hope. Throughout these years, I searched for answer, for truth, for justice. There were moments when the weight felt unbearable, but I never gave up. Maureen was never forgotten, not for a single moment. From the day she went missing until today, she has been carried in every breath, every memory, every fight for answers. This has been a long journey of hope that one day we would stand here and say her name with justice beside it. Today, that long, painful journey brings us to this moment. Our mission, our promise to Maureen, is finally met with accountability. For Melissa's, Megan's, Amber's, Jessica's, Valerie's, Sandra's, and Karen's family, I stand with you in deep love and understanding. No one should ever have to walk this path, yet here we all are, connected by loss, by strength, and the unbreakable bond of our loved ones. The bond some of us has created has been one that is unique in a sense that it did not form from a previous friendship or blood. It was created by trying to pick up the pieces of our world that had shattered in tragedy. And I am so grateful for us. To every family out there still searching, still waiting, still holding on, please do not give up hope. Even when it feels impossible, even when the years pass and the silence grow heavy, keep going. Your loved ones matter. They are not forgotten, and one day answers can come. Finally, to Maureen, the promise I made to you so long ago was simple. Sorry. I would never stop searching for justice for you. Through every year, every setback, every unanswered question, I carried you with me, and I kept that promise. And today, it has been done. Justice has finally found its way to you. Your voice was never silenced, your story never forgotten, and your life will always be more than the tragedy that took you. This moment is not the end, but a reminder that love endures, truth prevails, and hope never fades, because even in the darkest moments, justice will find its way. Thank you.
The victims will not be answering questions. I call them the victims because they are also victims, even though they are family of murder victims. I can take one question. And if there are none, yes, sir. Could you speak up a little, please?
Not much.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw something on Facebook today that the New York Post is still calling our girls sex workers. Stop it.
I don't have a comment on anything he says. Perhaps the district attorney does.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah. So thank you, Ms. Allred. Thank you, Missy. Thanks to the victims. Does anybody have any questions? Yes. Well, you know, I think traditionally a change of plea is when you know they plead guilty to every single count in the indictment. In this sense, you know, we are going to be dismissing 3 charges. So that is a plea deal. Obviously, he's getting the maximum under the sentence. So how you categorize that, I would leave it to everyone. Yes.
I can't hear a thing either, you guys.
So I know, Mary, you're going to get sick of hearing this because I say it every time. Doesn't matter what I think, it matters what I can prove. You've heard that before, right, Mary? I think that, you know, first thing we need to, well, there's a number of things we can do, but a huge step in moving that case forward would be to finally identify that individual. We're continuing to work with that, IGG. And hopefully that we can do that, but we'll continue to work that case. We'll continue to work all the other, unfortunately, many cases in Suffolk County. So. Again, doesn't matter what I believe; it matters what I can prove. So, you know, I'll leave the belief and the conjecture up to whoever wants to do that. I'm going to, you know, continue to do what we do, speak through our indictments, and you know, we are where we are. But we're going to continue to work forward, and so gratifying to be able to provide closure for these families. Hopefully, for that individual and his family and the people who cared about him, we want that same closure. Yes. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Oh, it most certainly is case law.
I wish we could hear the other end.
Do you work for the defense? It is. We prevailed in the Fry hearing. It happens all the time. Not every time that you make law in New York State does the case result in a trial. So, you know, that is the existing law since that decision. You know, like we knew it would. Nuclear DNA from hair samples has moved forward. We're on even stronger footing than we were at the time of the hearing. So we feel great about it, and we're happy. And you know, we're going to use that science. We're going to defend that science, and you know, let's do it. We feel great about it because the science is most definitely on our side.
They could at least repeat it before he answers it, you know?
Yeah, I think we wanted to synopsize, so we wanted to name the victims, right? Because it's about them. We wanted, and we're talking, starting in 1993, ending in September of 2010, we have these 8 women, right? And all of the years in between. So I think it provided a context of this defendant and what he's done and what he pled guilty to. So it was important for us to do it in that way. And then with regard to the allocution, every jurisdiction, there are elements for murder or what have you. Those elements are slightly different, and but in every jurisdiction, you have to prove each and every element of the crime charged against the defendant. So, for instance, when you ask the defendant how old he is, that's an element. He has to be above the age of 18. So, it's really the allocution is really guided by the elements of the crime, and it has to be satisfactory to the judge. So that's just the way we decided to do it. I mean, I think that's just the way we do it in New York. I mean, that's like a standard plea, so he had, admitted responsibility, allocated to it. So that's that. We still have the sentencing, so we'll hear more on, from that. Yeah, we're not, we're not going to have individual investigators speak. Again, we want to thank Trooper or Investigator Attai for the great work she did in that regard, and very emblematic of all the great work that was done in this case.
I thought he was only taking one question.
So with regard to the no further charges, that pertains to the 8 murders that were discussed. That's it. So with regard to other investigations, those potential investigations are not covered by the plea in this case. So we'll just have to see what happens with, see how that unfolds. But the plea and the coverage pertains to the 8 women that we were discussed in court today. That's it. Yes. Again, what we do is, when somebody wants information, we give it to them, and we share that information all the time. We've been sharing information. We'll continue to share that information. I think when people talk about, now he's going to, after sentencing, he'll go into CODIS, I said this before, but I want to make clear, we have the ability as investigators to provide evidence in our case on a case-by-case basis. So in other words, if there's a case in a state and they want specific information about one of our cases, we could share it, and we've done that.
It's stupid we can't hear the question, honestly.
Yeah, sure. Again, I think that, the FBI does such phenomenal work, but then you have, the real work that the FBI does, and then, the work you see on TV. So, one of the many great units that the FBI has is its behavioral analysis unit, and that is, that unit, at one of its core missions is like a clinical role. In other words, they're going to interview the defendant, gain insight into his motivations, and background, as sort of an academic and scientific exercise. So that's what that's about. They're a clinical. Those are clinical interviews. Those aren't investigative interviews. I believe that they're going to limit that to just the 4 corners of what he pled guilty to, and try to gain insight, so they could gain insight and knowledge going forward on new cases, and that's kind of what the FBI does. Yeah, I believe it was. It was a Ram Charger owned by him, and it was Sandra Castilla. No. I was a federal prosecutor, and as a federal prosecutor, you have a lot more, I would say, sway with the Federal Bureau of Prisons, and you could sort of dictate, those things. In the state, the state Department of Corrections does their thing, and so not only is there nothing in there, I don't believe I would really be able to do anything. Obviously, so that'll be a function of the Department of Corrections, but no. Yeah, I mean, I think with regard to this, again, he's not serving less time, so as far as that, it's pretty much the best we could do. But I think every single case you have, there's these discussions, and talking about pleas as a prosecutor, that's third rail stuff, because defendants have a presumption of innocence, they have a right to trial. So imagine if every time in one of my cases in my office, I said, "Oh, Smith, yeah, he's going to plead guilty. He knows he did it." That's third rail stuff. That's unethical behavior. So we don't talk about pleas, because it would be unethical as prosecutors, because we're impeding upon that presumption of innocence. So we don't do that. Number one. Number two, we don't have control over what a particular defendant's going to do. And in every single case, there's talk of pleas. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't happen. We prepare a case, we go forward, we see what happens. I don't think, until the allocution was completed, I didn't know whether or not this was going to go through. So you wait and see. I think people say, "Oh, it's going to be a plea." Well, maybe. No, I think I've been doing this for 30 years, and as a young prosecutor, you chase pleas. Every day you say, "Look, maybe we'll get a plea, maybe we'll get a plea." We'll call. It makes you look desperate. It takes you away from your preparation, so you go forward, and if the defendant decides to plead guilty, go ahead and let him plead guilty. But, it doesn't really factor into our mindset, because a lot of times you're absolutely sure that a case is going to plead guilty. It doesn't. Other times, you think it, and just the exact opposite. So you don't know, so you don't waste your time thinking about it. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for the families. Is there a personal anecdote or a favorite memory that you can share about your loved ones?
So Mr. Allred just said that the families were not taking questions. So perhaps offline you could address that. Yes. I don't really think it's sort of organic. It happens organically. What happens is you sort of go from talking about it and just going forward, and then at a certain point in time there was discussion with regard to Karen Vergata, and that's done in a proffer setting where the defendant discloses, but you can't use it against them unless they waive that. So, once that happened, we began to think that certainly a plea might occur, but you never know.
Maybe they should just give Rex's DNA to Othram and say, "Here, maybe this will solve half your cases. That'll save $7,500 a pop, wouldn't it? If you had the same perp."
Normally, say this was a robbery case, right? And there's a maximum of 25 years, and the person could get 10 years, right? So you're negotiating. All right, I think we could dispose of this for 12 years, or 10 years, or 6 years, or whatever it is. That's a normal plea. There was no negotiation with regard to numbers. So it was basically we'll continue to work this case. It comes a time when this defendant, and it's the defendant's decision, when this defendant wants to plead guilty, we'll go ahead and take it. But we're not discussing, we'll give him this or we'll give him that. So there really wasn't all those discussions. And I can tell you that, the reason why this case pled guilty was because it was the defendant's decision to do so. The defendant wanted to plead guilty. If the defendant didn't want to plead guilty, the defense would have taken the case to trial, and we would have followed along. But it was at a certain point in time, it was the defendant's decision to say I'm pleading guilty. No. Well, I mean, if you look at, I always talk about this, Mary, and we've talked about this, right? And I like to kid you, right, when you say, well, we're talking about a case in this jurisdiction. and you ask me, and I'll say, what does bail letter say? And you say, well, your jurisdiction is the only jurisdiction that does bail letters, right? So we've provided a tremendous amount of evidence, and the evidence in this case is primarily almost the lion's share of the evidence was the phone evidence, the financial records, the information with regard to the witness statement with regard to Amber Costello the night before, the Chevy Avalanche, the DNA. I think I said cellular phone analysis, and and of course the planning document and the mementos that were found. That's the case. I think there's a tremendous interest in this case, but when you get down to it, the actual commission of the crime, there were 2 witnesses to the commission of all of those crimes, and unfortunately, each time the other witness is no longer with us. So they're just certain, we can't answer every single question because there are no eyewitness to these cases. I felt great. I mean, and the reason why I felt great was because I knew it would provide closure to the families. This is a tough forum for victims. The protections extend to the defendant, and it's a process that's tough on victims. So to go through an extensive trial would have been difficult for the family. So we're glad that we were able to spare the families of that, and that's what we're most happy with. So again, look at this deal, and you tell me what we offered and what we didn't offer, and I'll let you decide. I know what I think. Again, it very seldom matters what I think. So if we gave him a deal, then we gave him a deal.
They feel they gave him a deal.
Well, so when I ran for office, and when I spoke with the victims' families before I took office, I discussed this task force. And I said, if you look at Suffolk County, the history of this case, every time there's a new person on the case, prior to me getting there, you'll see they go out to Gilgo Beach, and all you guys follow, and they're walking along the beach looking for clues, presumably. I don't know what the heck they're doing. But it's a great media event, and it's a great opportunity to talk about all the great work they're doing and how close they are to catching someone. We did the exact opposite. When we came in, we wanted the one person who mattered, the murderer, to think it's business as usual. We didn't say, "Hey, it's a slow day. Let's toss Gilgo in the media pool, to sort of get some clicks." We purposely wanted everyone, especially the individual who committed these crimes, to go to sleep. Because when we wanted to work our case, develop our case, and when we proved it, right, when we got that grand jury indictment, we wanted to simultaneously arrest him and execute a whole bunch of warrants. And if he was lulled to sleep, we would get additional evidence, and that's precisely what happened. So I am very proud for the work that we and the other members of the task force did, because how we envisioned it happening, that's what happened. Yes?
If you had to pick one precise turning point in the case that actually got to him, would it be the car or what was it?
I'm sorry, I cut you off. I apologize for that. Yeah, I anticipated your question. There's I don't think there was one. The phone evidence, the financial evidence, the mementos, the planning document, and the DNA evidence, right, off of those hairs. All of it is layered. And
Will they release
so,
all the
when you take it all
files?
together, really, really significant. And I think the key for us was, initially we had, the avalanche. Well, that's great. Let's get more. We had mitochondrial DNA. That's great. Let's get more. We had cellular data. Let's get financial records to link that in. So more. You have too much evidence. Too much evidence is not enough evidence. We realized this was a significant case. These families waited years. So we were going to make sure that when we brought this case to court, it was going to be a very strong, powerful case. And I can tell you, due to the work of these great agencies and these great people, to my left primarily, some to my right, we built a great case. And the reason why we built such a great case is because at no time did we ever say, well, that's enough. We're good. Keep on going. Sure, I'm sorry.
So at the end of your opening statement just now, you said this case closes and another one opens, but the task force has asked for help in identifying some other remains found out there, and I think those are still unidentified. So how could this case actually close?
Well, I'm talking about the case against Rex Heuermann and that indictment, right, which he pled guilty to the murders of every single woman on that indictment, plus an eighth woman. That case closes. But any case involving an unsolved homicide in Suffolk County, those cases remain open.
And he's being looked at for other unsolved cases that...
That's not the way it works. We don't presume that he did or didn't do any more cases. We go to each case like we did with each of these women. We develop the evidence from those cases. We see where it leads us, and that's what we do. But a lot of other people in Suffolk County said, we think it's this person. We don't think anything. We go to the crime scene. We start at the crime scene. We develop the evidence, and we see where it leads us. That's it. When I'm ready to charge somebody, I will. But I'm not going to sit here and say, this murder, we think it's one or two of these people, maybe a third. We don't speculate. We work until we get the evidence to speak through an indictment. Sorry, I don't mean to. But I think that that's the way you do cases, and that's the way we do cases. Yeah.
We've been waiting for word on the baby that was found. Obviously, we know that Aaron Dyson was charged with Tanya Jackson. But Tatiana, the baby in York County, is there any word that this could be connected? Is there looking at Rex Heuermann for that case?
Yeah. So while we were doing this case, right, Nassau was working on the case involving Tanya Jackson. And they've brought an indictment, right? And prior to that, we brought our indictment, and Nassau gave us the space to work. We appreciate that. Now Nassau has brought their indictment. We're going to give them the space to work. So we'll leave it at that. I'm sorry? We had evidence linking him to the commission of this case. Whether we would have indicted it, I'm not sure. Certainly, once he accepted responsibility for it, that concluded our investigation. But so we took the win and went with it. Okay, so I think we got to call this because I think the families have travel plans. But if you'd like, we could, offline, I could continue.
Just give me 1 second,
questions.
guys, and
Thank
we're
you.
going to talk about this.
I just want to thank the district
Okay, did he end? Okay, he did. Hello, hello. Thank you for sticking around. Let me get my camera back on here. Well, I mean, it's kind of a relief, I think, to hear the families say, like, we're glad this is over. Like, this saved us a lot of stress and stuff like that. I don't know why the press was giving him such a hard time, though. That's what I don't get. But I want to watch this. Thank you, Ballet Flats. I forgot all about this press conference. So if you guys are interested in going over a little bit about this, to give you a little bit of background, just some things I can pull from my playlist. But this is John Ray. This is lawyer John Ray. And he's the one that represents Shannon Gilbert's family. And this is a disturbing clip about some of the things that were found. This is, I think, Rex Heuermann's daughter's art. Okay? All right, here we go.
If you look, there's this horrifying monster with blood eating on the breast of this woman who has a furry butt plug hanging out the back. She produced this art.
The guy behind him. I totally forgot about this. This is Victoria's art. And we went into a deep dive on this. I'm going to try to share links as we go because I have this whole playlist, okay? And the first time that I heard of him was when he was arrested. And then we dug into him and we found this crazy interview he did with this guy. So we're going to play some of these clips, right? But I want to see if I have... Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Breaking news. Let's watch a little bit of this. I love this guy.
Here stands the commissioner, as you know, with me. And
Let's fast forward. I don't even know if this is the same press conference. Hold on.
Avenue, somewhere over there. She goes there, pulls up on a side street between the bar and a house right next to it, and she sees a girl in a window, and then she sees to the right.
So this says the lawyer for the Gilgo Beach victims has dropped some shocking revelations. I don't know what that one's about. We'll go back. That's not the same one I thought it was. But anyways, listen to this again. This is Victoria.
If you look, there's this horrifying monster with blood eating on the breast of this woman who has a furry butt plug hanging out the back. She produced this art.
This guy. He's like, what the hell? Oh, this guy, he's very colorful. Okay, very colorful. He's a great guy, though. But we're going to talk about, I wanted to talk about the sex parties. So take a listen to this. This is from an old stream of mine, okay? This is a clip. So you're only getting the old Jennifer, okay? Jammers, welcome back. Thank you for sharing my playlist. 2 years ago, we were live and we discovered the La Trapeze. Do you guys remember the La Trapeze if you were here? But we're going to revisit the La Trapeze. And you're going to see a little bit how Rex Heuermann and his wife spent their time. All right, this is a throwback from October 18th, 2023. Hopefully we can get through this. It is stories. Of course it's stories, but it sounds like they're definitely taking the stories seriously and they're definitely looking into this from what the commissioner said. So here is La Trapeze, New York City. Here's an actual article from 2009 sampling the delicacies at the La Trapeze Swingers Club. I wonder if Rex Heuermann was there. They get buzzed in. My bag bulging with swinger club supplies. I enlisted a friend and headed over to 17 East 27th Street on a Saturday night. Club rules stipulate that single men are not allowed inside. So as we neared the door, a guy stepped over to us. "Do you want any company?" he asked. "No," I replied as we were buzzed in. "We're just here for the hot buffet." We each paid our $30, and then the cashier delivered some bad news. No hot buffet tonight. When I expressed dismay, the bastard just chuckled, counting my money. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Crestfallen, we decided to go in anyway. After all, we'd bought the socks. The cashier then issued us locker room passes with names on them. My friend was thrilled with her trashy new name, Crystal. I was stuck with Sarah. This is freaky stuff. It didn't seem like an occasion to insist on the proper Finnish spelling. The lounge itself was low rent, libertine paradise. There was a sign proudly proclaiming that Le Trapeze was established in 1980, which may as well have been the last time it was decorated. There were plastic lamps in the shape of nude female torsos that flashed green and pink, dusty fake plants, mirrored erotica, and wall-to-wall raspberry-colored carpet. Why anyone would elect to have carpet in a place like this is a mystery. Gross. Turning the corner, we spied the dance area, which consisted of a smudged brass stripper's pole, a disco ball, and a pasty white naked couple. In a moment of transgression, they'd even doffed their tube socks, rolling around on a black vinyl couch. The sight shocked me. For some reason, I'd expected the actual sexual activity to be separated from general view, quarantined in what is referred to as the mat room. Oh my God, do I want to go on? It sounds like a movie. Help me. DC. I love you guys. I couldn't do this with any other crowd, let me tell you. Turning the corner. My dog just grunted. Turning the corner, we spied the dance area, which consisted of a smudged brass stripper's pole. Oh, wait, I already read that. Discombobulated, Crystal and I headed for the bathroom. Big mistake. The bathroom is connected to the locker room, which is next to the mat room, all of which were separated by only a few scraggly curtains. Wait a minute.
Giving us a sudden glimpse into some of the muscle-bound champs.
Okay, this is me. This is real life me right here. Boom, boom, boom. Listen, isn't it weird? We just found out that a main part of the evidence against Rex was freaking paper towels. It was Bounty, though. But this is from years ago. This is Brawny, but I think it was Bounty. The mic sounds the same. It does. Really? You can't tell a difference? Do I sound older? I probably do. But anyways, isn't that weird? What a weird coinky-dink. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled sex party education. This video is for educational purposes only. Any other usage of this video is highly unrecommended. Yep. Enthusiastically pounding away at an unseen partner. Gross. We scrambled off to the dining area, a collection of tables and vinyl chairs. The empty hot buffet bins sat sadly in the corner near a wooden counter festooned with red curtains and fake flowers. Above the counter, someone had placed a sign, "Please cover lower torso at food bar." I guess that sounds more official than "keep your dick out of the tater tots." Keep your dick out of the tater tots. Keep your dick out of the tater tots. It turned out there were a few meager food offerings after all. A bespectacled bald man in saggy white underpants was piling his styrofoam plate high with potato chips. Perhaps all was not lost. I'll just put on my tube socks, I thought, and review the food that is available. As Crystal loaded up her plate with everything on offer, I made my way for the coffee, sidestepping the decaffeinated Folgers crystals for the hard stuff. I grabbed my plate of my own and sat down to eat my way through entire menus, scribbling the result assessment. He had Tostitos corn chips, and he says, "Arriba, the Mexican flavor transports me to Tijuana. Muy bueno. Ruffles potato chip. The hearty crunch and salty deliciousness is evocative of a lazy summer afternoon. Barbecue chip. The delicate barbecue flavor dances on my tongue like a southern belle at a county fair. Oreo. This sublime medley of crispy chocolate cookie and soft vanilla filling is a delightful juxtaposition of textures and flavors. Winto Green Lifesaver. Oh, those are a must in the Swingers Club.
A refreshing, breath-enhancing conclusion to the meal. Minty, chalky. As I was conducting my review, I noticed a guy on a nearby couch playing with his limp penis with one hand while eating Tostitos with the other. Oh my God. A sleepy nude woman next to him was gazing at the hardcore porn on the monitors like she was at home watching a Law and Order rerun, munching on a bowl of Ruffles. Another woman was sitting with her legs splayed open as if airing herself out.
Oh, this was before Cooterville existed.
She says, welcome to Cooterville. Everybody close your legs. Everybody coming in, close your legs.
Close your legs.
Munching on a bowl of Ruffles. Another woman was sitting with her legs splayed open as if airing herself out. None of them were wearing tube socks. The manager walked over. We probably looked a little down, slumped at our table, fully clothed, sipping warm Kool-Aid mixed with vodka. Kool-Aid. Cloyingly sweet, artificial strawberry overtones, unpleasant aftertaste. Eyeing the white tube socks I'd pulled up to my knees, he spoke in a professional tone. Would you ladies like some fresh popcorn? This is two women. Why, thank you. That's very kind, I replied, channeling Scarlett O'Hara. Buoyed by his generosity, I decided to brave the bathroom, where I heard some guy shout out to the woman in the next stall. Hey, Ange, you in there? Yeah, I'm peeing. I'm trying to decide if I should go naked or not. Oh, hey, Ange, they got any rubbers in there? On my way back, I peered into the dance area, where the Jackson 5's ABC was playing. A mustachioed man was swinging his dick back and forth between two blondes, who each caught it in her mouth and turned and sucked on it to the beat. The trio's choreography was admirable. Upon my return to the table, the manager presented us with a steaming package of microwave popcorn. Popcorn, hot, not too salty, not too greasy, reminiscent of an office break room. Almost immediately, a topless woman bounced over, holding out a cup. Word around the club is that you two have fresh popcorn. We poured some in her cup, and soon other swingers flocked to our table with their cups. Watching popcorn spilling all over bare boobs as people greedily shoveled it into their mouths. I was reminded of the Le Trapeze website, which claims, quote, New York City swingers are the most glamorous in the world. Perhaps if you're Orville Redenbacher. The popcorn was an icebreaker, sort of like at the first Thanksgiving. I asked a woman in a red kimono, what happened to the hot buffet? Oh, she sighed. The health department made them remove it. This prompted everyone to begin waxing nostalgic about the good old days of spaghetti and chicken fingers. We gazed at the empty buffet bins wistfully. They looked a bit like the abandoned steel mills of Youngstown, Ohio, still standing yet defunct, whispering memories of a bygone prosperity. At this point, I spotted a young guy strutting around with a towel hanging off his hard-on. No one else seemed to find it funny. It occurred to me that this might be something he did all the time. Probably gets old. Just then, a dark-haired man shuffled over to us. Ooh, dark-haired? He'd taken a liking to Crystal and invited her to stop by his fried chicken restaurant in Queens. It's good chicken, he said. You're really beautiful. Her face froze. I quickly swooped in. We're here together, I said. Oh, yeah? He replied with a hint of defiance. I slammed my tube-socked foot up on the chair next to Crystal, marking my territory. Running his fingers through her hair, he looked at me and said, You're lucky. She's so beautiful. Then he turned and walked off to the mat room. Ew! Can you believe that asshole? I shrieked, running his greasy fried chicken hut fingers through your hair. My outburst attracted the attention of a cranky swinger in rimless glasses who slid down next to us. Stay away from that guy, he said. He's a slime ball. He popped a lifesaver. This is a bad night to be here, he continued. It's 90% paid women who get paid just to come into the club. Then the guy goes off and does his own thing. They're the bottom of the barrel. Like that woman over there. She's paid. He gestured in the direction of an immensely overweight woman spilling out of her white negligee who was eating fistfuls of Oreos. I thought it would be a wise business plan on her part to get paid by the pound. Then I felt bad. These people tonight have no respect, he continued. They don't follow the rules. He pointed down at his feet like wearing socks. Hallelujah. Someone finally wearing tube socks. Hold on, guys. I have to take this call. Hold on. Be right back.
Okay, that was old Jay, so we'll skip. Isn't this crazy?
Okay, so let's continue. Hallelujah. Finally, someone wearing tube socks. I was about to ask a follow-up question when a sweaty swinger couple sat down beside us. Yeah, said the male half of the couple. I call those people who bring in paid escorts swinglers. The cranky swinger got up and left without warning. I thought maybe he didn't like anyone tonight. The male shrugged and said swinging is like yoga. It looks weird from the outside, but it's great when you're in the flow. The female leaned in. That's where we met, at his yoga class. 2:15 a.m., the smell of pizza wafted through, and soon the staff started putting out boxes. I grabbed a couple of slices. Pizza, a whiff of oregano and the tomato sauce, tasty dough. Suddenly, there was a stampede of half-naked people toward the counter. I imagined them mid-orgasm saying, wait, did someone order pizza? Before long, the fried chicken hut swinger, the towel dangling from his hard-on swinger, the optimist swinger, and the red kimono swinger rejoined the buffet crowd. Everyone seemed really happy there was pizza. After that, the energy began to lag. Crystal and I decided to call it a night. I realize it's true what they say. There are no strangers here, just naked people I haven't met. As La Trapeze's door clicked shut behind us, a voice rang out. Hey, Ange, you want pepperoni or sausage pizza? I don't even know what to say about the story we just read, but let's look at some images now that we have kind of a visual from that story. It looks like something out of a freaking movie. This is right by Rex Heuermann's office, too. FYI. This is the club.
Okay, so we heard about La Trapeze, that Rex Heuermann went there back in the 80s, 90s, and him and his ex-wife brought a woman home from this club. So I did my due diligence and looked into the La Trapeze, and I found a reporter that went in undercover and wrote a story about it on Observe. So then I did Google Images.
Elite world of secret sex clubs. Look at.
I learned a lot this day.
I want to see inside this place. La Trapeze, right here. Let's take a gander. Mark Jenkins. Mark Jenkinson Photography.
Nice name.
This is inside. Oh, this is all his photos. Hold on. I don't want to do that. We'll just look at it here. This is inside the club. I am shooketh.
His ex-wife, his first wife.
That's London. There's not many photos. That's the only one I can find inside. Let's see. Let's go to their website. Let's see what their website says. Wednesday with J. Let's go to their website.
Oh, this was on a Wednesday. And it's Wednesday
they have a Yelp
today.
Page. Marie B. I started here in my early 20s, and this environment opened my eyes to so many things. The club is small. This is in 2013, a review from Houston, Texas, Veronica L. We paid over $100 as a couple, and that was insane for us. The social space was very tiny. You had seating by the food and some seating by the tiny dance floor with the broke stripper pole, but that was it.
What did they expect?
The play areas were horrible. The main hall had rooms on both sides with mattresses on the floor. And you have a time limit in there because friends we were with were interrupted while they were in one. They had an upstairs which had one tiny stairwell and down which lead you to an attic, basically with rooms separated by wooden walls that were about waist high. But if you're over 6 feet tall, you will be slouched up there. So Rex probably did not go up there. And if you're over 100 pounds, you'll be in a tight squeeze unless you're alone. Their red room group room wasn't bad compared to the rest of the club, but there were single guys in the corners jacking off by themselves. To top it all off, the manager tried to physically fight my husband because he didn't like what we had to say when we were asked what we thought of the club. But the food was great. We just say we paid for dinner and breakfast, which was a steal, LOL. We literally have nothing good to say about this club. Wait, they had great food, that's it. Oh my God.
This one gave it 5 stars.
Jeff T. from Brooklyn has been going there for 6 years as of 2016. He's very picky and has high standards, and he finds hot couples to play with. On a good night, I get to play with 4 to 5 couples. Oh, Joe Ebb says, if you have a fetish for fat, nasty people, this is your spot. But be forewarned, some sites cannot be unseen. Oh my God. Look at David S. New York, New York. Look at his review.
How long it is.
Look how long it is. All he would have to do, this lawyer could find these people that all went here. Look at simply disgusting and dirty. Stay away from this dump. It's a downer having the creepy guy, good looking or not, following you around as you move around the place. Weird.
T. Lee, I'm glad you're laughing.
Smelled vaguely of sweat and tears. I like this place, says Charles D. from Rego Park, New York. In 2010, he says, I've gone probably 50 times, starting in 85. I used to go to Plato's Retreat, but it's no longer around. La Trapeze is couples only, with couples ranging in age from 30 to 60. It has a large orgy room, several semi-private room. The action is nonstop. See a couple you like, lie down next to them and gently start stroking the woman's leg, arm, whatever. And if she doesn't say no, go further and further.
Don't be nasty sometimes.
The guy looked at me and said, do you want to bang my wife? I said yes, and I went in and had a ton of fun. That happens quite often.
Kathy!
God, I think I just vomited in my mouth. The real deal. It survived vice squads, the AIDS epidemic, and the recession. It can't afford to renew its lease. That's why it closed. They couldn't afford to renew their lease. Ugh, guys. Oh, let me come back to you. Let me come back. Look at the right mattress matters. I'm already getting mattress ads. Holy.
Oh, gosh. Scary.
This is outside the club. Guys.
This place smells like sweat and tears. That's so fucked up.
I mean, call me naive, but holy. I am learning so much following true crime. Come try our savory sandwiches. These are a couple people at the club. Weird. This is the weirdest shiz. For a mouth-watering meal you're sure to love, La Trapeze in New York is the place to be. They even tried Groupons. DJ fans will appreciate La Trapeze's frequent live mixes. The noise level can sometimes reach near deafening levels, so save your conversations for another night. What? A Groupon? They tried to save their business. They opened in 2020 with COVID restrictions.
They were
underground.
They were still open during COVID, you guys.
Manhattan Swingers Club says it's worked out all the kinks, no pun intended, amid COVID-19 is reopening. Although the required safety measures could kill any libido. Temperature checks at the door and constantly cleaning and disinfecting throughout the night. Ew. We will be operating at 50% capacity. There will be hand sanitizer mugs and gloves. The club touted its new Tuesday cock and tail event. Come prance around in nothing or less. Oh, man. The club's lineup was Anything Goes Wednesday, Big O Thursday, Scandalous Debauchery Friday, and Swinging Kink Saturday. The club does not openly advertise its exact location. For last-minute RSVPs, or if you have a problem finding our location, text. Oh, my God. I cannot.
Gloves.
I mean, what? Couples International. Oh my God! I'm gonna get swinger shit now. Stop. La Trapeze is the mecca of sex clubs in New York. It has been around since the 80s and is solely reserved for couples and single women. This discreet club also has a secret door from the inside of the apartment building next door. Bring your favorite bottle of booze and take advantage.
They have a secret door? Dude, Rex Heuermann went to this place. Oh my God, Cindy Arnold. She's at Home Depot.
And take the atmosphere and have fun. Okay, so where is Rex Heuermann's office? Do we know? Because I want to see how far this is.
Let's see if I figure it out.
Heavily into this. That John Ray, that lawyer, was talking
I guess
about.
I guess I didn't figure it out, but his office was right there. Okay, let's go back to the playlist. Woo, that was a deep dive into Rex's sex club life with his initial wife. Oh, let's watch the interview. So another deep dive we found was this interview he did because Rex Heuermann was an architect and he worked a lot for the New York City like building department and shit. And this real estate guy interviewed him and we found it. Listen, here's a clip.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to J is for Justice. This is another J for J Quickie. On Friday, July 14th, we covered the press.
Oh, this is when I was doing quickies. Remember the quickies, Jams?
Conference for the arrest of the Long Island serial killer. While we were live streaming and waiting for the press conference, I did some searches on the suspect. And we found this interview that was conducted a year ago. So I went back to find the video so I could give this guy credit, and I can't find it on YouTube anymore. But it was called La Interview, and it was with a realty company in New York City. This is our suspect here that has been arrested for these horrific murders. They say he's a demon. This guy's a demon. According to law enforcement, he's a demon.
You work for the experience.
Yeah, my little shorts, I called them quickies. I did J for J quickies and then like put out my clips.
Doing architecture. You get your license to practice.
Yeah.
As your time goes on, you learn about the buildings and about the codes and the different buildings of time frames. I'm dealing with a building from the 1880s right now. You know how they react. But it's the people, how they're all so different, and how you deal with the people, I think, is one of the more interesting aspects that have come out of this.
Yes? Okay. All right, my last question. If you were a tool or an object to help you in your to help you to bring your business to greater heights, what would it be?
That's an interesting question.
I know.
Because for what I do, we have to have so many tools in the toolbox.
Just one.
Just one.
Just one. Or an object. It doesn't have to be a tool.
What's he going to say?
You know what? I know.
All right.
One of the things I learned from my father was furniture building.
Okay.
He was an aerospace engineer and built satellites. And
runs in the family, building things.
And built furniture at home. And I still build it in the same exact workshop.
So?
I have one tool that's pretty much used in almost every job. And it's actually a cabinet maker's hammer.
A cabinet maker hammer. Okay.
It is persuasive enough when I need to persuade something.
Not someone.
Something.
What the hell did I just hear? When he needs to persuade something, he uses a fucking hammer. Look at his teeth. He is a demon. He has demon teeth. Look at those chompers. This is terrifying.
Persuasive enough when I need to persuade something.
Not someone.
Something. And it always yields excellent results. Yes. And at the end of the project, whatever piece of furniture or what I'm working on, it always helps it come out beautifully.
Okay, great. So you would be kind of kind of hammer for your business? That's what you're saying? If that doesn't exist, that's what you would be?
Sometimes I have to be the heavy framing hammer. Other times I'm the lightweight hammer just to nudge things along.
All right, I guess it's a hammer. We got it. That's it.
To say I'm speechless would not even be the right word. What did we just hear? Yeah, construction term, but we've got a serial killer that's using that term, so it sounds a little diferente. And he does look like fucking Trump. That is weird. Dye his hair, get him a blonde toupee or wig and he's Trump. He's got, except for the belly.
Comment, share, like, subscribe. Subscribe, very important. But in the meantime, it's
selfie time.
Selfie time.
Ew.
Go fast.
What?
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ah! Can you smile?
That is.
He can't smile because he's got he's got devil teeth. There's the final outcome and his digits. Look. Here's his digits, ladies. 212-947-1925. Rex at rhcon.com. And then look at the selfie. Lord have mercy on my soul. He looks like Donald Trump. What the fuck? This dude is going to make the big time because he interviewed this creep. That was a crazy find. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you want to do a deep dive on this guy? Because I didn't follow this throughout the decade that they were investigating. So if you guys would like to know more and you're not familiar with the case, let me know.
I looked so cute then. I was so much younger a couple years ago. God damn. God damn. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. The clip wise. Let's see. I'm not going to bore you guys with press conferences. However, this is one that I've looked at that I thought this is one that I thought Rex could be involved in. She calls him Rexy. Of course she would. But take a listen to this one. This could be Rex Heuermann.
Is this?
Look at the victims.
July 21st, 20. Is this Rex? Who is this dude? Is this his brother? That looks like the wife.
I thought this was Rex at first.
Massapequa. Who was that, guys?
This was really weird when this happened. Ooh, she does probably think he's sexy.
Is that Rex's brother? Who are these people? Michael and Mary Short? These are the people that were killed? Hold on. Let's read this. A benefit ride to honor a slain Henry County girl is entering its 21st year, and law enforcement agencies take another look at unsolved cases after a recent charge in a 13-year-old case in New York. Have you guys heard of this? Tell me in chat, because I haven't heard of this one.
You guys ever heard of the murder of the Shorts?
Heuermann owns property in other areas, including Las Vegas and Chester County, South Carolina. Henry County Sheriff Wayne Davis said he has not heard about Heuermann's South Carolina property and was not familiar with the route he would take to get there. However, we're open to exploring all options, including the 2002 slayings of the Short family. The bodies of Michael and Mary Short were found August 15th, 2002 in their Oak Level home. Each suffered a single gunshot wound to the head. Their 9-year-old daughter, Jennifer Renee, was missing and presumed abducted by her parents, killer or killers. Human remains found in Rockingham County, North Carolina, about 6 weeks later, were confirmed to be those of Jennifer. She too suffered a gunshot wound to the head, and no arrests were made in the case. The Shorts were considering a move to South Carolina at the time of their deaths, and the couple had been talking to a local real estate agent about selling their Henry County home. Michael Short had been searching for a job with a mobile home moving company in the coastal region of South Carolina. He reportedly visited areas that included Bennettsville, Florence, Conway, and Myrtle Beach. Chester County is situated just off Interstate 77 between Charlotte and the state capital of Columbia. Heuermann bought property there in 2022. Relatives have lived in the area for about 2 decades.
Got family here, too.
The investigation
Florida.
in New York is ongoing as authorities there seek information in the death of a fourth woman, and cases of missing persons and murders are being revisited nationwide. The recent developments coincide with preparations for the Jennifer Short Educational Scholarship Benefit Ride, typically held on the second weekend in August. This year's ride was set for August 19th. Ray Reynolds, who helped organize the event for 20 years, stepped down last year. Reynolds said he kept the date of the second weekend because it fell closest to the anniversary of the deaths, and it was set aside out of respect for the family. He is unable to
Texas,
attend
too?
due to a pre-planned vacation.
Let's skip forward.
Solved it. Investigators say they've never established that a sexual assault occurred during the horror crime, but they want to rule it out, especially after Jennifer's abduction. Oak Level, Virginia has a population of 466 people.
Yeah, that one's
It's
weird.
Out. And then this dude comes over and starts shoving shit in there.
Look at them.
With his bare fucking hands.
Since the cause of the fire is not known, anything that could potentially be evidence in the future has to be collected. Investigating the fire was...
Oh, that's right. Their house caught on fire, too. And this
And
was
then
their
from
suspect.
there, we just started Googling, and we ended up with this unsolved case that a local newspaper has linked to the Heuermann case. Maybe. This is the suspect's sketch of the Short family, someone who was sitting outside in a white flatbed truck outside of their home, shot them execution style, a town of 450 people, shot them execution style, took their little girl to another state, and then murdered her.
Hell yeah, Chris Owens. I think there could be hundreds.
I don't know what you mean by that. Timeline on Gilgo Beach. M's versus this Short family, M, and the arson on their house. So the arson looks like it happened 2019. So would something have made Rex spooked or something in 2019?
I'm so sorry,
2019,
Crusher.
the
That's
house
horrible.
was burned. Jammers, what's up? We have been swinging the cocks, keeping them out of the tater tots, and all that good stuff.
Jammers.
All that good stuff.
Wait, let's play that again.
Teresa, yes, we are family. Thank you for being a member for 3 months. 2019, the house was burned. Jammers, what's up? We have been swinging the cocks, keeping them out of the tater tots, and all that good stuff.
Oh my God.
All that good stuff. Teresa, yes, we are family. Thank you for being a member for 3.
Yes, let's see where she was found. Jennifer Short found. Her skeletal remains were found in O2 in Stoneville, North Carolina, approximately 35 to 40 miles from her home. So they found her a month and a half later, and the case remains unsolved. They were discovered in a rural area near a creek and a bridge. A substantial reward is offered. Doesn't say what it is. The case has been noted for its lack of suspects, with a 2019 fire destroying the original crime scene. He may not have killed Shannon Gilbert. I'm not sure about that one. Because that 911 call is a lot. I don't know. But yeah, I have a whole playlist of things about Rex if you're interested. Some videos are longer than others. Here's Asa showing up to court with the film crew.
Welcome back to the news
Watch.
desk. This is a quickie for you. The estranged wife of the Gilgo Beach murder suspect, Rex Heuermann, attended one of his court appearances for the first time today.
There's the banana, Hexy.
You heard me right. Asa Ellerup was in court today with a camera crew attending Rex Heuermann's hearing.
She looked different today, didn't she? Wow, that was her showing up with her documentary crew. Remember that? Everybody was like pissed.
Asa Ellerup filed for divorce 6 days after Heuermann was arrested in July. He has pleaded not guilty to the murders of 3 sex workers.
Yes, Chris.
Today's hearing was a routine hearing to allow attorneys to work out their scheduling matters. And Ellerup, who recently also visited Rex in jail, is under contract with a production company, and they, like I said, were in tow. Her attorney has signaled that she plans to attend every court date going forward so she can see the evidence for herself. Well, back in July, after he was arrested, she told the media, "My children and I have been crying ourselves to sleep."
Hey,
Heuermann
Megan.
was arrested back in July for the murders of Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. Their bodies were found on Long Island in 2010. He is also the prime suspect in the death of a fourth woman, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, who vanished in 2007, though he has not been charged in that case. The prosecutor said the investigation into that case is still ongoing. Rex is due back in court on February the 6th. It appears Miss Asa has found a way to make some money. She couldn't get the guns back, so it looks like she's probably doing a documentary through the course of the trial and allowing the film crew with her and probably interviewing her through the thing. Do you think the kids will be in it? That is going to be something.
I think, now that I'm thinking about it in hindsight, thank you, Miss Mojo Risen, for a month. Good to see you. Did she, okay, so Nick says he's pleading not guilty and she filed for divorce after 6 days. Did she know about it prior? I think she did that so that the $1 million she was paid was so it wouldn't go to his victims in his restitution. Isn't that shitty? But now she's being sued by the victims, so good luck with that, Asa. Let's see what else we've got here. If there's anything else worth taking. Oh, look at the Route 29 stalker. You read my mind, Chris Owens. Let's watch a little bit of this.
Now we have an update on our top story tonight. As we told you, 25-year-old Alicia Reynolds disappeared this weekend. Her abandoned car was...
Approximately 20 women who came forward after Mrs. Reynolds' disappearance. I feared the worst.
In the creepy saga of the Route 29 stalker, this mysterious character linked to a brutal murder in Culpeper County.
This is an official J for J pre-record. This is a J for J pre-record from December 10th, 2023. I put a lot of work into this. I hate pre-records like this. They're so time consuming. However, I want you guys to enjoy it. It's actually got a lot of information about the Route 29 stalker. Oh, Elizabeth says this is my area. Oh.
There's this horrifying monster with blood eating on the breast of this woman who has a furry butt plug hanging out the back. She produced this art.
In today's video, we'll be delving into the Route 29 stalker case, shedding light on the victims of these unsolved incidents.
Does that not look like Rex? Look at the sketch, you guys. This is the one that is more convincing than the short case.
Stick around because at the end of the video, we'll also explore potential suspects and discuss who we might think is involved. Route 29 is a highway that stretches from Pensacola, Florida to Silver Spring, Maryland. It was originally constructed in October of 1925. Currently, U.S. Route 29 stretches around 1,036 miles up and down the East Coast. On Saturday, March 2nd, 1996, 25-year-old Alicia Showalter Reynolds bid farewell to her husband Mark and set out around 7:30 a.m. Alicia, a graduate pharmacology student at Johns Hopkins University, residing in Baltimore, Maryland, had a strong commitment to research, notably contributing to a project developing vaccines for less of...
Right about 11 o'clock, she wasn't there, and I said, this is not like Alicia.
In 1996, cell phones were not as common, and Sadie, who had recently acquired one, couldn't contact Alicia. Waiting outside the mall, anxiety grew as time passed, and by 2 p.m., Sadie reluctantly accepted that Alicia wasn't coming, having been 3.5 hours late. Around 6 p.m., Alicia's white Mercury Tracer was discovered 50 miles away, parked on the shoulder of Route 29, near Culpeper, Virginia. A napkin under the windshield wiper hinted at car trouble, but an inspection revealed that there was no issues. Inside the car, Sadie's cell phone number was found on a piece of paper, given to Alicia the night before for the drive. The next day, March 3rd, a roadblock was set up, and witnesses reported seeing Alicia along Route 29 with her car hood raised, talking to a man with a dark pickup truck, possibly a blue or green Nissan. Descriptions...
The only instances where we have found that the individual became agitated were those instances where women either refused his assistance or refused to pull over for him.
These incidents occurred between Manassas and Charlottesville, Virginia. Witnesses also mentioned a green tarp and toolbox in the back of the man's truck. A week before Alicia's disappearance, a woman from Quantico, Virginia, reported a similar encounter where the man driving a small blue truck attacked her. Police believe he is the same man seen with Alicia. Developing a profile based on witness accounts, police suspect the individual works in a blue-collar job, wears a wedding ring, and may use the name Larry Breeden. They believe this might not be his real name, and if he is in a relationship, it's likely troubled, especially around the time of Alicia's disappearance. Police think he appears ordinary, blending in like a neighbor. On May 7th, 2 months after Alicia vanished, her body was found in a wooded area 15 miles southeast of her last sighting. The suspected killer, believed to have acted out a sexual fantasy along U.S. Route 29, has a specific preference for small, brunette, white women in their 20s. Special Agent Larry McCann, a behavioral scientist with the FBI, believes Alicia's murder may have resulted from a sexual assault fantasy gone awry. There are 4 more Route 29 potential victims that we're going to talk about. Julianne Williams and Laura Lolly Winans. Julianne Williams, affectionately known as Julie, hailed from St. Cloud, Minnesota. At the age of 24, with a profound passion for nature, she pursued a geology degree in college, aspiring her to share the love of the outdoors with others. Laura Winans, fondly called Lolly by close friends, was a 26-year-old from Unity, Maine, and was deeply connected to nature. As she pursued certification as a guide, her goal was to impart her enthusiasm for the outdoors to others. Both women, seasoned campers and hikers, shared an intense bond with nature. Unfortunately, this connection led them to an unfortunate encounter. Engaging in what they loved, the women met a tragic end amid the picturesque wilderness they cherished. On a camping trip to Shenandoah National Park on May 19th, Williams and Winans, partners in life, were expected back by the 28th. Concern arose when Williams was reported missing on May 31st, after her roommate contacted her father, revealing her delayed return. After a day of search efforts, the lifeless bodies of the 2 women were discovered at a creekside campsite just off the Appalachian Trail, located near milepost 42 along Skyline Drive, close to the popular tourist spot Skyland Resort. The women were found bound and gagged, their throats brutally slit. Due to their gender and sexual orientation, this case instilled fear among campers and hikers, highlighting that the wilderness wasn't inherently safer than civilization. The impact extended beyond women, reaching the gay community. Investigators grappled with determining if the crime was a random occurrence or if the women were targeted based on gender or sexual preferences. This tragedy prompted heightened safety awareness on the trail and spurred the call for legislation protecting individuals targeted for gender and sexual orientation. The next is Anne Carolyn McDaniel, 20 years old. She was last seen leaving a group home in the town of Orange on September 18, 1996. Her burned body was found 4 days later, within 10 miles of where Reynolds' body was found. Then there's Samantha Ann Clark, 19 years old, disappeared in the final hours of September 13th, 2010, or in the early hours of the next morning. She left her home in the town of Orange, telling her brother, "I'll be back." She never returned. Additional cases along the U.S. Route 29 corridor, including Sophia Silva, Kristen and Katie Lisk, raised suspicions, but the suspected killer, Richard Mark Ebenitz, took his own life before facing charges. Other unsolved cases in the region add to the mystery and the tragedy. Despite over 2 decades and 10,000 leads, this perpetrator remains at large. Now let's get into the reason that I even made this video, and that is because Rex Heuermann, the alleged Long Island serial killer, could be a potential Route 29 suspect. Not only does Heuermann resemble the sketch, there are some more creepy connections between Rex Heuermann and the murders that happened in this region. There are other possible coincidences too. property records reveal that Heuermann's mother has resided in Palmyra, Virginia, since at least 1994. That's about 50 miles where Alicia was last seen alive. Furthermore, in a deposition for an unrelated lawsuit, Heuermann admitted to traveling to Virginia on multiple occasions throughout 2018. Law enforcement has not commented on whether Heuermann is being considered a suspect in Alicia's case. Alicia's little sister and twin brother think that this should be looked into.
It was hellacious. In the process of that, I moved from Nashville to Dallas to start marriage, start residency. Really, really hard. I mean, residency is hard enough, and I had all that to deal with, plus being married. It was really, really hard. It took a toll. Yeah, I actually reached out to them, I think back in March of this year, and they were pretty quick to call me back because they had never talked to me before, and they were like, okay, we got someone else from the family calling, and I tried to bring up some of these other technologies and kind of got we've got very limited DNA and we're sending it off to these other labs, and some of these things, some of these other cases that I wasn't sure if they knew what I was really talking about or what. It kind of felt like I was getting somewhat the brush off. I mean, I felt good because they were still pursuing the case, but at the same time, I'm like, can't we be doing more? My message to them is nothing you've done has solved this case. Let's do something different. Let's start thinking outside the box. Let's look at different technology or try different.
That interview was done in 2022, so maybe we will get some results with the DNA, with that new technology that they have going on now. They only need a very, very, very small amount. Next, we're going to hear from a man who Rex Heuermann hired to mow his mother's grass there in Virginia.
I forgot
Let's
all
hear
about
his
this.
interaction with Mr. Heuermann.
It was just to basically go clean up the yard because it was all overgrown. And I kind of remember him complaining, like he had a big dumpster there. He asked us to throw some stuff in the dumpster and he didn't like the way we put it in. A month later, still no payment. Another month later, still no payment. When I saw him on TV, I was like, that looks familiar. And then, put two and two together. And
Sample also remembers seeing a certain Chevrolet Avalanche parked right outside the home that he believes is the same vehicle that led detectives to Heuermann's doorstep in Massapequa.
Even though there are many unsolved cases in this area, the last one we're going to discuss is Cheryl Warner. Cheryl Warner was killed on December 18th, 2005. She had been on the phone with her dad when a man knocked on the door claiming that his car broke down. She was later found tied up and hanging in the basement with her home set on fire. There was actually a man, Ricky Gray, who was convicted of her murder, but DNA later cleared him.
Nearly 9 years ago, Ricky Gray was one of the men convicted and accused of murders before that. Tonight, we've learned police are re-examining one of those cases. Our Greg McQuaid.
See, this is what people don't talk about with DNA, too, is the exoneration of people. I'm sure this guy, was profiled because he was black. He probably had a criminal record, but DNA proved it wasn't him.
Accused of murders before that. Tonight, we've learned police are re-examining one of those cases. Our Greg McQuaid is here to tell us why.
Well, this is video. That's why. Culpeper deputies released it just this morning. They say it's of murder victim Cheryl Warner shopping at the Belk store before her death. You see her talking to an unknown man at the door before leaving the store, and investigators think he was the last person to see her alive.
I forgot about this.
This is when it gets really creepy weird.
I forgot about this.
Look at the video.
The 37-year-old was found shot and hanging in her Culpeper basement that same day, December 18th, 2005. The home was also set on fire. Ricky Gray was once indicted in her death, but years later, prosecutors set aside the charge based on DNA evidence at the scene that they say did not belong to Gray. According to Warner's father, she called him when she got home from shopping and they were talking about football when a man knocked on her door saying he was having car trouble and needed her telephone. Her father said the man was not alone and Cheryl Warner was never heard alive again. Again, this is video nearly 9 years old at Christmas time from the Belk store in Culpeper. If you remember anything about that day or about this scene, or you recognize anyone in it.
Well, I don't know about y'all, but I can tell you right the fuck now, I recognize someone in it. Let's take a look at that video again. So there you see Cheryl with the white bag. She's got a sweater on. She's heading out towards the door. You see a man to the left in a gray shirt just beyond the green tablecloth. He looks like an ogre. He follows her out the door, maybe like 2005. She heads home. She gets on the phone with her dad, and then a man shows up to her door with car trouble.
He followed her.
and she's brutally murdered and found horrifically. If it was Rex Heuermann and he wasn't alone, who was with him? Do you think Asa was with him? This is getting weird, folks.
Does Richard look like an ogre? I had country twang in that one. Thank you, Jammers, for sharing the playlist. I forgot how much I had. I want to show you. I want to show you Rex Heuermann's grandfather. We're going to grab this from the New York Post today. Okay, so this, cousin. Not grandfather, cousin. This is his cousin, Reverend Kenneth Heuermann. Kresha, you'll love this one. The Reverend Kenneth Heuermann, a pastor at St. Michael's Lutheran Church in upstate Camillus, drugged and essayed a girl who came forward when she was 8, allegedly using clerical stoles to bind her, the victim claims, in a 2019 lawsuit. Now an adult in her early 70s, R.W., sued the Evangelical Lutheran Church for $45 million in damages. She claims that she suffers from dissociative identity disorder due to the years of ritualistic abuse she endured. The first attack happened when the girl's mom dropped her off at the church for play rehearsal. She was picked to portray the Virgin Mary in the church's annual Christmas pageant. From then on, Kenneth Heuermann, known as Pastor Ken, abused her between 1961 and 1968. This is where it gets bad. Usually in the presence of other male congregants and one of their wives. The alleged sicko used stones during the sexual assaults that either had letters written on them or were arranged to spell specific words, according to the lawsuit. The victim failed to elaborate on what was allegedly written on those rocks or what they spelled once they were laid out. This is RW. The assaults sometimes occurred inside the church, on the altar, in the sanctuary. The victim told several church leaders about the abuse, yet they did nothing to stop the pastor and instead protected him. The victim also said Reverend Heuermann had threatened to harm and kill her. This is his cousin. During a deposition, Reverend Heuermann was asked if he ever touched the victim, and he responded, never, 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 never. The lawsuit is pending in the Onondaga County Court. Reverend Heuermann died November 4th, 2024, at an assisted living. The victim approached the Onondaga prosecutor's office about it in 91, but was told the statute of limitations had expired. Cousin of Rex. She was only able to sue the church after the adoption of the Child Victim Act, which went into effect in August of 2019, which opened up a year-long window for adult survivors of child SA to file claims regardless of when it occurred. Rex Heuermann's grandfather, William Heuermann, and Reverend Heuermann's father, Alfred Heuermann, were brothers. So their dads were brothers. Whew. However, the pastor's obit fails to list Rex as a surviving relative. Disturbing. Let's see, there's his obituary. 15 grand. Oh my God. He's survived by his wife Gertrude, 7 children, including William Jr. of Belmore, Theodore of Massapequa Park, and Mrs. Grace something of Babylon. 15 grandchildren, 2 more brothers, Eltred of Merrick and George of Great Neck, and a sister. Heuermann? No, he didn't have a criminal record, did he? For what? Wow. It's a lot of people in this gene pool. Look at this article. The architect in a string, Okay, so he is late in paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes, repeatedly filing lawsuits accusing drivers of injuring him in car accidents. I never heard this. The architect accused in a string of Long Island killings has been years late in paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes, repeatedly filed lawsuits accusing drivers of injuring him in car accidents, and still lives in his childhood home. Between 2014 and 2022, Heuermann filed 4 lawsuits in New York against drivers who he said hit him with their cars, causing him serious and permanent personal injuries. 3 of the cases were settled or discontinued, and the most recent one is ongoing. In April 2018 deposition, Heuermann discussed his life and work, saying that he lived at his childhood home in Long Island suburb of Massapequa Park with his wife of then 22 years, daughter, and stepson. At one point in the deposition, when asked if he played sports, he said, "Really only thing I competed in was competition rifle." Heuermann appears to have had issues paying his taxes going back more than a decade. Nassau County records show Heuermann was subject to 6 tax liens filed by the IRS in Nassau County between 2010 and 2021. Oh, according to the liens, Heuermann owed a total of more than $425,000 for taxes he failed to pay going back to 2005. The IRS later filed tax lien releases showing that he repaid or no longer owed about $215,000 of that debt, with most of the documents being filed in October of 2022. Heuermann and his wife also currently owe a total of more than $81,000 in personal income tax, with the tax bills having accrued since November 2020. Other court records shed light on technical and mundane work Heuermann has done as an architect. He examined water damage on a building in Manhattan last year and offered an analysis of proposed waterproofing. Records filed in another case shows emails coordinating a renovation project in the Bronx in 2017. His daughter worked for him, too. In a civil court hearing in 2018, Heuermann described his work as general architecture. Says he works for clients to resolve issues with the State Department of Buildings. An associate described the work as not a pleasant process. I don't want to be Mr. Heuermann in that respect for a moment. This is the video where he was caught buying the burner phone or something like that. In 2007, a Harlem apartment building that Heuermann was hired to renovate was declared unsafe by fire officials. 24 families had to evacuate. Heuermann is listed on city documents related to the building that say it would remain vacant during construction. A spokesperson for the building's department told CNN, no disciplinary actions, weird. The website of Heuermann's firm, RH Architecture, listed his daughter as an employee. The page listing employees has since been taken offline. But yeah, there's just a lot. His brother... Let's look at his brother was on coke and killed a cop by hitting him with his car, I think. Rex brother, let's see. Yeah, killed police captain, 1988. The younger brother of Rex killed a New York police captain in a drunken crash. Let's see, in which he was coked up. Craig Heuermann was 22 in 1988 when he crashed through the central median of the Southern State Parkway close to the Massapequa Park home, where his brother still lives. He slammed head-on into a car driven by City Housing Authority Police Captain Winyan Buskey, 51, who was pronounced dead at the scene. He later pleaded guilty to criminally negligent homicide and driving while intoxicated. Craig Heuermann was going about 61 during the 9:25 a.m. crash. So he was all coked up at 9:25 a.m. The findings were used to dismiss a lawsuit that sought to blame officials for the conditions of the road the locals dubbed Blood Alley. He also had a blood alcohol level of 0.20 and a cocaine level of 0.05 milligrams. After pleading guilty, his brother, then 22, started a 3-year sentence for criminally negligent homicide. He was paroled in August 1990. He was out in time to be listed on a wedding announcement for his brother, serving as the best man in his first marriage in 1990. The Heuermann brothers grew up in the ramshackle house on First Avenue, just across the bay where the bodies of alleged victims were found in 2010. Heuermann bought the house from their mother in 94. The same year he started his architecture business on Fifth Avenue in Midtown Manhattan. Craig Heuermann appears to have moved to the Carolinas 30 years ago. So he's had his brother in the Carolinas for 30 years. That's why I say he could have a lot of victims. Just a lot of history with this family. It's really weird. But anyways, I'm going to wrap this one up. I've got some things to take care of. I want to thank you guys for joining and hanging out with me today. We will definitely be here for the sentencing on June the 17th. And thank you for sharing the link to the playlist. I hope you guys will check out some of my videos. Comment in the comment section. Even though they are a couple years old, they hold a lot of my research. So thank you for checking out my library. And if you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button now. I'm going to transport you over to my live tomorrow. We're going to be doing more of Trisha. We've got the deposition to cover. And then we've got some drama that I want to talk about. I want to talk about 857.
He's like this little pussy.
Got some things to say. So we'll reconvene tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. You guys have a good rest of your day. Thanks again. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this live stream or video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on my latest content. Want to take it a step further? Bring it all in. And join our community clickers by becoming a Patreon or a YouTube member. You'll get exclusive access to our Discord server, special channel perks, and much more. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.
Click. It's real easy, man.